Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking time with me, Rico, for my first live stream here on the Dominican route. Let me give you a little bit of background about what we're going to be doing today. So, let me welcome you all to the initial episode of the relaunching of the Prime Time for the Truth channel. Here at Prime Time for the Truth, we hope to have informative and encouraging conversations around relevant and current topics in a direct but always truthful manner as we see it. My name is Rico, and I'll be your host, and it is my pleasure to guide these discussions so that we can seek not my truth, not your truth, but the truth to the best of our ability. We will hold to have these discussions in an open and a constructive manner in an attempt to make sure that we cut through the noise, bring clarity to important issues. It is my intention that at the end of these discussions, that if we can't find a solution, we will always be able to see the truth. So please sit back and view my presentation in the light that I'm always seeking the truth, and where I fall short, please never hesitate to bring it to my attention. Oh, and to the audience and people that are here, let me first say Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, nope, tomorrow I believe is St. Patty's Day. So welcome to all of you. So that's great. If I'll take a moment and give a couple of shout outs to the viewers that joined us on the beginning. I'd like to shout out Nikki from La Nikki channel. Of course, my brother from another mother, John DeJean, he's here. Uh, Also, I believe this is little DJ, teenager stuck on the island. I laugh every time I see that because I know how you guys didn't quite seem to love it as much as me and Coach did, or does still do, not just did. Uh, I'm sitting outside in my backyard because I would have been in the house, but it turned out to be an unbelievably awesome day. So I wanted to get out here and get some of this vitamin D. I encourage all of you, if you're not here with me, to get outside and get some sunshine. It's good for the spirit, it's good for the soul, and that's what I try to do as much as possible. So just trying to stay within accordance with the program. I'll get back to the topic. So I've been wondering, like, how I wanted to do the channel, the focus of it. And I decided that, while I'm a very, very proud member of the Dominican Route and several other channels, Let's Talk the Better Black Life, I really wanted to talk about some things that I think that's important to me, and that I think, it's just not quite getting the attention that it deserves. So, in the spirit of my brother John, I decided that it was time that we needed to talk about some of these school assaults on school faculty members, teachers, counselors, coaches, by student and parents, and how bad it's getting. So in my study of it, or my looking it up, I saw that we needed to learn how to tackle the violence against teachers. The epidemic of assaults on teachers and school staff by students and parents alike is a sad reality. As a father and a grandfather of school age children, I am very disheartened by what seems to be a daily occurrence. These assaults on teachers, staff, and even fellow students. While I know this is not a new phenomenon, violence in schools has increased at an alarming rate in recent years with no signs of abating. The national average of teacher salaries is $57,933. That is the national average of the teacher's pay, $57,933. They have a national pay range from a low of $48,373 to a high of $70,664. That's the total national average. Now, with all that, we expect our teachers to accomplish, to educate, to encourage, to role model, to counsel, and security with such a modest pay. Why should they be exposed to the fear of physical assault, sometimes resulting in the loss of their life, on an almost daily basis. So, today, with your kind attention, I would like to review and reflect on some of the more recent occurrences of these events and see if we can see some truth about what the causes are. In exploring these cases, it is my intention that we can see if we can find some solutions. And if not, at least we can become more aware and conscious of what our educators have to confront. Okay, so with your kind indulgence, let me shout out to this Mubarak. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Apologies if I'm not. Dr. HP Black in the building. Thank you for coming out, sir. For my, I hope I do you proud. I hope I do you proud. I'm not as credentialed as you are, but I still like to read. I like to study, and in between, when I'm not so deeply inebriated, I like to try to talk about things and encourage uh, people to do better. So, with that being said, this is something that's near and dear. And while I no longer have any children of school age, I do have grandchildren of school age. And when I see these things occur, it profoundly bothers me. So, with your kind indulgence, I'll take a moment and I would like to share uh, this first video that came to my attention. Just a moment. I'm driving. They gave me the keys to the car, so y'all know how this can be, right? Don't give Rico the keys to the car. Share here. Okay. See, let me make it a little bit bigger. All right, I only got a permit, not a full license, so I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try this. Sorry, one more button, and here we.
Violent assault on his Las Vegas teacher last year sparked security upgrades and a new law. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Sasha Loftus. In a story you'll only see here on 8 News Now, education reporter Joshua Piguero shows us the surveillance video for the first time and the moment that teen was arrested.
In this video dated April 7th, 2022, you see then 16-year-old Jonathan Martinez Garcia walking the hallways of El Dorado High School at 133. He looks back at one point and stops in front of a classroom. He can't enter, starts making his way back down the hall, but then turns around and the teacher's head pops out.
Since it happened, there hasn't been a single night where I haven't dreamt about the attack.
That's Sade in court on June 29th of this year testifying during Garcia Martinez's sentencing. In this video, you see her struggling with him and being pulled back into the room. Prosecutors say that's where Martinez Garcia brutally attacked Sade.
I would wake up in a new spot and position each time, knowing that he had just dragged my limp, near lifeless body into a different part of the classroom to do whatever he so chose to do with my body as I lay unconscious. He had beaten my body so badly that I could no longer fight.
At 3:05 p.m., he exits the classroom with his head down and exits El Dorado High School. The attack lasted for nearly an hour and a half.
Sade remembers him saying is, "Why won't you just die?"
This CCSD PD body cam footage shows officers racing to find the teen later that day.
Possible suspect sighting. He sees a suspect outside of his residence right now.
A school officer locates him in a vehicle near Linden Bonanza.
Hey, driver, turn the car off. Turn the car off.
1 jump 3.
Jonathan, step out of the car.
He was in a new set of clothes, his high school ROTC uniform.
You know why we're here? Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
Walk him back there, please.
The judge sentenced Garcia Martinez to 16 to 40 years in prison for that violent attack. Joshua Piguero, 8 News Now.
Now, that incident at El Dorado led lawmakers to pass several new school safety bills during this past legislative session. This made that easier for teachers and administrators to expel or suspend students for violent behavior.
Okay, family. Now, we saw this incident of this young high school teen that violently assaulted again, apologies, family. That's what happened when you give a rookie driver the keys to the car. I promise you, I will get better. But in that instance, I think it's telling that we saw a 16-year-old kid, I believe 15 or 16-year-old high school student that appeared to be in school after hours. And for some unknown, I don't know. I don't know if that was a teacher of his. I don't know if they had any prior conflict, but nonetheless, we saw what he did to this young lady, and we saw the consequences of it to the point that that young man has ruined his life, and he's gone to jail because of a fit of rage for at least 16 and possibly 40 years for the rest of his life. Um, but on the other side of the coin is a young woman that was, unrighteously assaulted, accosted, and it doesn't go into details as far as what else happened to her. But can you imagine, as much as I feel a sense of sorrow for the young man, what about the teacher? She's clearly was someone's daughter. She probably was someone's wife. She could have been someone's sister. She could have been someone's mother. And these sort of attacks and assaults, they don't just happen in the moment and it's done. They have long lasting effects on everybody involved. This kid is going to need counseling to see if whenever he gets out, he can redeem himself and become a functioning member of society. Or, maybe he'll fall into the trap of recidivism in and out, because we know that that's kind of like what the justice system is. It's a punishment system. It's not necessarily a rehabilitation system. But I just think that story is very disappointing, and that's not what teachers go to school for. They go to school to teach, and no one should have to go to work. I don't think any of you guys go to work ever at any point in time thinking about that you may get assaulted, beaten up, or great, or whatever the case may be. Oh, real quickly, if you guys could do me a favor, if if my video looks good and my sound sounds good to you, can at least put a 1 in the chat to me, because I really don't know how this is being received. I know I'm sitting outside because, again, it's a really nice day, but I don't want to be sitting out here speaking and then you guys say you can't hear, or it looks fuzzy, or whatever the case may be. So if we could just do a quick audio visual check, I would really appreciate it. Everybody, anybody, if that's all we got, that's great. Hopefully, we can all see it good and well. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go to the next video. One moment. Did I do this one? 1 second.
One, if you could start a life squad our way for a female staff, maybe in her mid-50s.
That's the school resource officer radioing for help after the attack. The victim is inside a nearby classroom. She's eventually rushed to UC Medical Center. A few minutes later, and we see officers speaking with a teen accused of hitting her.
Did you take anything, smoke anything, drink anything?
He said he took a hit or something.
I took a car. I ain't take no weed.
When he says he took a cart, he's referring to taking a hit from a vape cartridge. That's the school nurse next to the teen. The officer then asked the juvenile if he talked with the teacher just before the attack.
Just gonna call the police, man. I just start punching him.
You started punching who?
The teacher.
The teacher? Do you remember where you hit her?
In the head.
In the head?
The suspect goes on to tell the officer that the teacher started screaming and he ran out of the classroom shortly after. In the videos, other students tell police that the teen started pushing around desks, hitting a classroom wall, and pinched another student's neck. The teen is then taken to the hospital to get checked out. In another video, we hear an officer speaking with the suspect's mother and grandmother at the hospital. The officer tells the woman the teacher has very serious injuries.
He's going to be under arrest for felonious assault. We're going to stay with him here, and then he's going to be transported.
So she's pressed charges.
2020. She's unconscious and unresponsive.
In the final video, we see the teen taken to the Juvenile Justice Center.
From breaking news to...
Okay, family. Now we saw this video. What did we get out of this video in particular? Again, another instance of a young man in high school assaulting a teacher. This woman, I think they said she was around the age of 50. You know, that's up in my neighborhood. As tough as a old piece of leather that I look, when you get over 50 and 55, we don't recover from physical assaults nearly as well. So again, in this instance, so far in none of these videos have we seen any reason or provocation as to why these kids responded that way, but it's telling for some reason they all attacked their teachers. Now, the one thing I heard differently in this story is this young man appeared to be under the influence of something, because he said he hit a cart. And I found out just today that, and I said, oh, okay, that makes sense. Cart is short for cartridge. And I know these kids, and it seems like all these kids everywhere today are on these vape pens and electronic pens. And I think we as parents and the community, we need to start to show and express a little bit more concern about these things, because I have no idea what's in them. But apparently there are chemicals and things in there that I just thought I was more concerned about what it would do to them as far as their lungs and things of this nature. But if we start to see occurrences where kids are under the influence of something, because maybe, you know, this stuff is poison. I just found that to be really, really, really surprising. And so far in both of these cases, let me be clear. While I'm trying to sympathize with these young folks, at no point could it have been me. So I know previously y'all laughed about me. Oh, Rico said he won't cut the grass at a school. This is why. Because I just don't have the mental restraint to not assault a child. And these kids are big nowadays. We're not talking little kids. These 15, 16, hell, most of them are bigger than me. Most of them are bigger than me. So I'm not, going to respond as if that's a child, because I know, the slightest amount of aggressive force could take me up out of here. So I'm fighting like I'm fighting for my life. So you better believe that. Again, I'm trying to be balanced and not be too crazy when we talk about it, because I know that these young folks are children, but these young folks are being charged with felonious assault and they're going to jail. And I think their ass should be. Do I want to say right now to throw them away for good? I'll say no, with one caveat. If they put their fucking hands on me, I'm going to see that they're gone for good. It's just, I can't accept that. And, this kid beat up a 50-year-old woman just because he wanted to hit a vape pen. That's again, every time I'm showing these stories, we got to understand these women are they're definitely somebody's daughter. We know they all have parents because they're here, but they're possibly somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's child, and a mother. So I can guarantee you, if I was in the school system and a kid beat me up, that kid better not come back to that school, because even if I don't get to you, my son's, I'm not even going to talk like that. But I get angry, especially when we're talking about middle-aged to elderly women being beaten up. And I told you guys what the salary was. They don't get paid enough for this shit. They don't get paid enough, period. I truly believe that teachers are some of the most underpaid professionals we have in this country. And then you got to go to school and you have to go to your job site and you have to deal with this every day. I think it's just too much. And I just wanted to talk about it because, again, I think that we become disconnected to this. And just for the record, these are all cases that happened in 2022, 2023, and one just earlier this year. So these are recent cases, and they're all over the country, all over the U.S. And I will say this: when I was doing my research, this is not just a U.S. thing. There are multiple cases of student assaults on teachers in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in Canada, all over the world. So it's not just a US issue. I think it probably is more so in the US than the other. But let's go to the next video. All right. Bear with me a moment. And okay, let me present. Again, can't give me the keys to the car. Can't give a rookie the keys to the car. Yeah, and I think. Oh yeah, this is, and look, this is my hometown. Well, it's not, yeah, this here. Just to prep. I want to set this up. This is in Prince George's County, Maryland, right down the street from me. My kids went to high school and graduated there. My kids, I never got phone calls for my kids touching a teacher, because if my kids so much as raised their voice at a teacher, they were never graduating. They were done. Unfortunately, I'm one of those old school parents where, like my mother, it always rang in my ears. My mother always said, that school better not call me. And that's what I told my kids. But let's play the video.
The yards outside Potomac Landing Elementary School in Fort Washington, Maryland are supposed to be a safe place. Yet as this photo from a teacher with a head welt shows, educators are getting wounded on school grounds.
As soon as I got ready to take her into the office, she hit me and would not stop. So I tried to restrain her. While I was trying to restrain her, her sister jumped in, cursed at me as well, jumped on me. I slipped and I fell. And when I slipped and fell, they were both just hitting me. The younger sister kicked me in my head.
How old are these children?
The oldest was 12 and her sister is 10.
So young.
So young. Very young.
And for that attack, music teacher Renee Calloway says the student who kicked her head received a suspension.
It's 20 days at the end of the school year. That's an early summer vacation.
Other Prince George's County public school teachers we talked with report being punched, pushed, and kicked by students.
Too often, way too often. And students are allowed to act out.
Calloway and other teachers started a new group they call Safe Teach 23.
We have to make every concerted effort to protect teachers so that we can be there to actually teach students.
Prince George's County Public Schools says it's expanding professional counseling and therapy services for students at high-need schools. In a statement it wrote, in part, we ask that parents and guardians remind their child of the serious disciplinary actions that can result from physically harming peers and adults. But Maryland law now forbids any court punishments for children under 13.
There are individuals who are young, who commit violent offenses against teachers that, based on the new state laws, will not be referred for prosecution. And so that is an issue that prosecutors are taking up with the state.
Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy is telling Maryland's Judiciary Committee more needs to be done to restore legal discipline for assaults by children under 13, and that includes court-mandated therapy and counseling.
What I'm hoping to tell the Judiciary Committee is that we need change, that we agree ultimately with the goal of rehabilitation. We may disagree on how we achieve it.
There has to be teachers have to be supported.
Wounds heal, but Calloway has the fear that without the root cause of student violence being fixed, what is supposed to be a safe space for all will become a hostile workplace.
I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that I now have severe anxiety and PTSD.
Just going into school.
Going into the schools, to the school building. But I had to know that it's okay. Like, this is now my new reality.
In Fort Washington, Maryland, Nathan Baca, WUSA 9.
Okay, family. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Now, let me set the table for you. Like I told you guys, that's just 10 minutes away from me. Mama, the boss, just came home. But let me tell you guys this. That's elementary school. The age, they were girls, they were 10, and they were 12. So it's not even just a boy thing. It's not even just a high school thing. It's all. It's elementary school, middle school, but of course the problem is mostly pronounced in high school. In addition to that, they're doing this gang, or the sister jumped in. I shouldn't call them a gang. That's not accurate. But I would say the other part that's troubling to me is in that instance, which I wasn't even aware of until I just listened to that clip clearly. I didn't realize that the state of Maryland, which is where I'm at, so I know I would have to take actions in my own hands, forbid you for prosecuting a child under 13. Now, on one side of the ledger, that sounds like a positive thing. But this is the part that bothers me because I believe just a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, in my neighboring state of Virginia, we had a 6-year-old kid in the first grade. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. That went to school with a handgun and shot a teacher. Shot the teacher. Now, am I saying to throw the 6-year-old in jail? Absolutely not. That is way too young. Maybe he knew what he was doing. Maybe he didn't know what he was doing. Brought the handgun. But fortunately, in that case, while the kid's probably getting some sort of intensive counseling as needed, that the parent, the mother, I think she got punished to 2 years in jail. So if the state of Maryland is going to go with this notion that we're not going to do any court intervention for someone under 13, unless those parents can show me where they did some sort of intensive intervention beforehand, they need to be held liable. Because I'm under the belief, again, like I said, this is trying to see the truth as I see it, that in most cases, not all, in most cases, the parents are somewhat aware of your children's propensity to violence, or they have some sort of violent history. I'll just to say for the 2 days ago in the state of Michigan, they just convicted a father because his son went to his high school 2 years ago and shot and killed 4 students and shot several other students. The mother was convicted a week before. We don't know how much time they're going to get. The kid got life, but they finally, this is the first time ever in the US where parents were held responsible for what their children did. In that case, the father brought the kid the gun. They said the kid had all kinds, it's what we should have been doing. And maybe some of these people will be less reluctant to want to purchase these firearms, or at least at a bare minimum, if you insist on keeping your Second Amendment right, you carry it with the weight of responsibility, and you sit there and you start to make sure you secure these weapons, because I just think it's getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. So again, when you got grade school children, shout out, salute to you, RA. Oh, let me just take a moment to shout out the people that showed up. I'm sorry, guys. I told you I'm a novice. I'm just getting my permit, and they gave me keys to the car already. So I'm out here lost on these streets. But shout out to Sister Cheryl Broussard. Thank you for being here with me. I love you. Thank you for sitting there and supporting me in this initial journey. Again, my sister Wu, thank you as always, rocking with me. I couldn't do this without you. You and the support and encouragement from all you guys. And shout out to RA. Thank you for coming through. And again, I hope. Oh, and El Camelito, or El Camilo, however you said. This is, it's not very difficult, but it is a new skill set that I'm learning, and I'm trying to do it in a way where I can, teach and encourage, and we can learn something from it. But again, just in closing, I think those are the things for me that stood out to me. Was the ages of the kids, the gender. We know that these females. I can tell you this: Prince George's County is a predominantly African American county. So while we have not seen the girls, and I know that area very well, which is a predominantly African American part of the county, it wouldn't be a stretch to say that in all likelihood those 2 young ladies are African American. It just is. So But I just think for me that the parents should have known. They may have known or they should have known. And if that happened, they need to be held accountable. They just literally need to be held accountable. I'd sue them for everything they got. So I mean that was just troubling to me. I wanted to point that out. So hopefully, if this was useful to you. Give me a moment and we're gonna go to the next video. Okay, here's the last video that I want you guys to see and tell me if you're seeing what I'm seeing and watching these videos. This is the last one. Yeah.
I can't seem to recognize this song.
How that came up. Okay, we all can see it. And where's the play button? All right.
Classroom violence against teachers in a local school district, it's gotten worse.
Yeah, after a Fox 12 investigation into this issue months ago, data shows the problem is not improving. Investigative reporter Adrian Thomas joins us now in the studio with a follow-up report this morning. Adrian, good morning.
Kim, Shauna, good morning. Back in late August, we showed you how the Salem-Keizer School District, Oregon's second largest school district, leads the way in student-caused teacher injuries. Now, despite district officials saying this is one of the top priorities for improvement this school year, the problem hasn't gotten better. Teachers tell us they're now getting desperate. Newly released data Fox 12 Investigates has obtained from the Salem-Keizer School District shows a dramatic increase in staff injury reports filed by teachers. Back in August, we took a closer look into this issue and uncovered how from January 2019 until summer 2023, there were nearly 1,100 staff injury reports filed, more than double the amount of reports filed in Portland Public Schools in the same time period. Now, new data from Salem-Keizer schools shows the problem just continues to get worse. The latest teacher injury reports we've obtained show this current school year is off to a worse start than the last several years, with 78 student-caused staff injuries between July 11th and October 9th. That's compared to 48 reports filed during the same period in 2022, 33 in 2021, none in 2020 due to distance learning, and 32 in 2019. Breaking it down by year, it's been a gradual increase of overall staff injury reports filed. 167 reports filed in 2021, 386 in 2022, and in 2023, from the beginning of the year until early October, over 420 reports have been filed. The Salem-Keizer Education Association, the union representing teachers in the district, says staff morale is low.
It is beyond heartbreaking. It's also infuriating that these students aren't getting their needs met, and our staff are not getting the protections that they need to be able to show up to work without getting hurt.
Staff statements in injury reports from this school year describe students causing serious bodily harm. In an incident from Houck Middle School in September, one teacher explains how a, quote, student was pulling on my arm, causing me to trip and fall. I hit the door frame head first, resulting in a 4-inch gash that needed 25 stitches. In an incident that same month at Four Corners Elementary School, one staff member describes how a student, quote, punched me in the left side of my head, punched me in the stomach 4 times, slapped me multiple times, and repeatedly and intentionally punched me in private areas.
Let me just pause it there for a second, family, because because this video is about 5 minutes long. We're almost done. We're halfway through it, but I wondered, are you guys noticing the increase year over year? I believe it was nearly like 100% increase from 2021 to 2022, and then 2022 to 2023, nearly almost another 100% increase. One study, one in particular article and partial study that I read is this may be a reflection of some of the result of what we endured during the pandemic. They talk about how they think the pandemic has led to a change in human behavior. So that's one thing that I think about. And I want to say that this is one particular school system only in the state of Oregon. So if we extrapolate this out, nationwide, we can see the breadth of the problem, how big it is. And these teachers are really, when I keep thinking of the cost of what they earn, and, like you said, being punched in the head and in the private parts and being great, there's no way in hell. I think teacher salaries needed to be tripled without any of this. With this, quintuple. This is just insane that, again, we're asking so much of our teachers, and we they say things like, oh, the police officers, oh, we need to be counseled, we need to be this. I'm like, their job still isn't as bad as teachers. I'm not saying that being a police officer is not dangerous, absolutely, but y'all got a gun. The teachers don't, and nor should they, and most of them don't want to, because they're not trying to take someone's life. But I don't hear this preponderance of police officers being beaten up or being put in the hospital or anything like this, or loss of life, because obviously the kids and the people on the other side of the coin know that there's a 50 or 20% chance of them coming out of it. I think these students know that they can do these acts of violence on teachers with near impunity, because we've allowed that to change. And I can tell you, it's been a significant generational shift in parents. It's going to get to the point where I think it's going to start to affect the education, and certain school districts. We're going to start to see these huge disparities between certain school systems, certain school districts where kids thrive and do very well, and other systems where they're just going to be left behind. They're just simply going to be left behind. So I think it's something that, like, the parents have got to start to put their foot down with their children. The unions have to support teachers more. The local legislative bodies have to give them more structure. There needs to be more funding for school. All of these things. So I don't think it's a one size fit all or a single thing. I think it's multiple things. So I just wanted to stop it at that point to address those points I've heard in the video so far. And I'm just going to finish this up. And then I got some special guests that I want to bring up.
This escalation lasted approximately 2 hours. Chris Moore is the Director of Mental Health and Social Emotional Learning for Salem Keizer, and one of the district officials in charge of addressing this rise in student attacks. He says from the staff perspective, he's focused on increasing support for teachers who have been attacked.
And so what do you say to some of those teachers who are concerned right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Every one of those staff stories is important. And I've had the opportunity to talk with a lot of those staff members. As our staff injury reports are submitted, we've added another team alongside those, our safety and risk management, to follow up directly with staff afterwards.
Moore says the district has 5 behavior intervention trainers who train staff in de-escalation tactics for handling students experiencing outbursts. Now, their role has expanded to responding to teachers who have been harmed by a student.
And staff can say if they'd like to have someone check in for additional support or training, they check a box on there. And then what we do is we reach out.
Moore says the district also has one behavior intervention center, which is a facility that can hold up to 16 students where they can be sent after frequent outbursts at school. Students work with counselors to improve behavior before returning to the classroom. Moore says a second facility is opening in January. Next spring, Moore says the district is also partnering with Trillium Family Services to open a day treatment center that can provide behavioral health resources and psychiatric care for up to 24 students and their families. But teachers say the changes to address this problem should have been made a long time ago, and promised projects don't make enough of an impact.
Until just very recently, it still wasn't being prioritized. And that's the problem. We're talking about systematic changes that need to happen to support people and our students. And while our district leaders are starting to acknowledge it's a problem, needs to be prioritized, we haven't really seen anything implemented yet.
Tyler Schuyler-Lakeberg also tells us the union is pushing for more clear staff safety protocols in the next contract she negotiates with the school district.
Okay, family. So hopefully, again, that look, Millie, y'all see him out here with my little stupid dog. Millie, knock it out. uh, so hopefully we can see where, like you said, the lady was able to discuss some of the issues and concerns and problems, and I agree with all of them. I don't think they go far enough, but obviously it's better than nothing. But we have to sit there and be able to stop and tamp down these instances of assaults on teachers. I mean, I don't think anybody in any profession anywhere needs nor deserve to be assaulted or attacked in any way. But in these particular cases, and especially as people of color, when we're sitting there and we're trying to close the education gap, the wealth gap, and all these things, these are things that we can do at a small local level that can help us to decrease it. If teachers simply can't go to school and teach, my God, there's no hope. There's little to no hope. So with all that being said, I hope that I was, I'm truthful in what I'm saying. But to hear prime time for the truth, that's what we try to sit and settle only in the truth. Again, not my truth, not your truth, but the truth. I hope those videos were a helpful tool for us to sort of reconnect with what the problem is of school. And this is just school assaults. This doesn't address, again, like I said, the inadequacies in school, the lack of support and funding, the lack of some of the arts and whatnot. This is just the assault. So we can't even get to the bigger problems if we can't just protect our educators. And it is leading to an increase in teachers flat out leaving the school system. We have far fewer male teachers, and we have to do something about it. So I hope that was helpful. That was my little spiel on there. All right. So now at this time, I'm going to take a moment to introduce a couple of special guests that will come up and talk to us on these topics. They're all three of these people I know very personally. I know them on a very personal level, and I'm proud and honored for them to be here with me on my first stream. Two of them are my brothers from another mother. One is a sister from another mother. And just briefly, first and foremost will be John DeJean. He is a former Major League Baseball player, baseball coach, and security specialist in the Dallas school system. Shortly, we will be joined by a personal friend of mine, May, who is a former teacher of 16 years at an alternative high school in the metro Atlanta area, and especially a very dear friend of mine, Brother Clarence, who's also a member of the Nation of Islam, has his own YouTube channel, Let's Talk the Better Black Life, that's out there in the trenches doing the work every day, speaking to young men in the community, and also the founder of the Urban Warrior Academy in Los Angeles that we're going to get up and running. We're going to continue to shout it out. And he has a great program on Sundays, every Sunday afternoon. We're going to drop the link to these channels so that you guys can come in with some good whole content and things like that. So without any further ado, okay. All right. I'll do that next time. All right. Because I'm telling you, they just gave me the keys to the car. So let me bring up John. Let me bring up May. And let me bring up Brother Clarence. How we going today, guys? And ladies, gentlemen, ladies, are we all doing good?
Doing well.
Okay.
Good.
So did I keep the car on the road, or had I been in the ditch a few times?
Man, you did good, man. You did good.
You've been drinking. You've been drinking.
No. You did good. I'm not going to even lie. You did good, man. You really handled it, and you broke everything down much. You did a good job.
And I hope that you guys watch the video, just that, whatever. So before we go any further, I want each of you guys to take a couple of minutes. I introduced you the best that I could, but I want you guys to do it yourself, to do it better. We'll start with Coach John DeJean from the Dominican route.
Man, what type? You got to start off with ladies first, man.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Go back, radio, ugly. Yeah, I'm sorry. let's start out with the beautiful, lovely, my sister May, my sister from another mother. Please introduce yourself, May, and tell the audience about you.
Hello, thank you for welcoming me. My name is May. I am a retired teacher. I taught for 16 years in Metro Atlanta at an alternative school. I taught English and I taught high school, so I've seen quite a lot working with a at-risk program, a lot of at-risk kids. Thank you.
Okay, May, just to add a little, flesh that out a little bit. How many years? Well, I told her about how many years, but what grades and ages did you teach? And was it boys and girls, or yeah? I just want to make sure what gender specific school, because I know you said alternative, and I don't know a ton about alternative schools, but like what grades and ages did you teach?
Okay, I taught ninth to 12th grade, mostly a concentration on 11th grade. But the interesting thing is that an alternative school, in the sense that most of the students have failed at regular school, traditional school. So we had up to the ages of probably about 25. So anywhere between 16 and 25 is the average age of the students. Most of them that I had were probably on average about 18 to 20, 22. So they were a little bit above the typical high school age. They had a history of failure. So that's why they came to the school. Behavior, academics, and all kind of other different things. But yeah, it was both sexes, co-ed. Hmm.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're gonna move over to the next youngest, Coach John DeJean.
Hey man, I'm gonna just jump past the baseball stuff and Yankees. I was a big person that loved working with kids. I worked with kids my whole life. I taught at schools, and I was at 3 different schools. And I received the NAACP Humanitarian Award, the youngest person to ever receive the NAACP Humanitarian Award in California. And I received the Martin Luther King Award. So my passion is working with children. And now I'm in the Dominican Republic. I'm disabled because I was assaulted by a high school teenager.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Let me just take a moment to do a shout out again. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everybody that came here for my first show. Uh, my intention is to do this more. We're gonna start bi-weekly or every 2 weeks, and then as the engagement or as things grow and people show an interest, we'll do more. But I would definitely want to shout out. Thank you, Sister Annie, for showing up. I love you. I could not do this without you guys' encouragement. So I appreciate it. Nothing you can say or do is too small. Just showing up is the first step, and I really appreciate it. Shout out to my brother, the savant himself, Arshawn. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I bought breakfast for a teacher. That's wonderful. That's one. Hey, look, and you know what? Nothing we can do is too small for teachers. School supplies. A lot of teachers end up having to go into their pocket to fund our children's education. So I want to make sure that we don't forget that as well. So thank you. I definitely appreciate it, and I love you all. So now I will turn it over to my fellow Negrosaurus. And the inside joke is me and Bro C, we call each other Negro. We're black and we're like old dinosaurs. So you'll hear us say Negrosaurus. Brother Clarence.
Brother Clarence,
put your hearing aid in.
You got it on mute, brother.
Put your oh Lord, the elderly.
He might not be around right now, so you might have to just keep moving on. He got it on mute, or he's not. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Wait till we come back. Mm-hmm. See, y'all done let the elderly have the keys to the car. I'm on mute.
Okay, good. Go, Rico.
I didn't lose my voice. I'm just getting old and stupid. So again, we know that you had a particular specialized, maybe not so well known incident as a school security. and you were in the Dallas school system. Was it
That's
Dallas?
right.
Okay.
Dallas, yeah, Dallas
And
school
the
system.
and the
Three different schools, but the last school I was at, it was in Dallas, Texas, and called Focus AAA Academy, and I was the varsity baseball coach and part-time security officer.
Okay, so you did security and coaching. So let me ask you, what was the first two schools what was the name? Is it okay for you to say the name of the prior two schools you worked at?
Well, one of them I can, but it's called Faith Family, and that was in Dallas and Waxahachie, Texas.
Okay, so were they private schools or public schools?
All charter schools. Charter, whatever you want.
Charters are public. They're public funded. They're all publicly funded. They're not private tuition based. Right. They're publicly funded, at least as far as I know. So let me ask you a question. Did you have issues at those? Well, not even to this degree, but did you see that there were issues at the other school? Well, you was a security officer. So just by nature, why did these schools need a security officer? Well, why did they need them? And then what were some of the normal things you would have to deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Even the ritzy schools always had a security officer in Dallas. I don't know about everywhere else, but I was in a rougher area called Oak Cliff. Probably everybody probably heard of Oak Cliff in Dallas. So I was in Oak Cliff. That's where Deion Sanders' school was, also in Oak Cliff. So it was tough. Sometimes kids would be bringing drugs, having sex in the bathroom. The phone was a big problem. It was just disrespecting the teacher. I got a lot of calls. So I had a walkie-talkie on my hip, and I would get a call from the principal or the front desk. Coach John, little Johnny hit the teacher in the stomach and threw a table at her or pushed her, something like that. And I would have to go get little Johnny. And then sometimes I would have to restrain little Johnny and even with the little kids.
Right. Okay. Well, hold on. So without, I want to kind of like you to tell it. This we'll come back to it, and real quick before I move to the next guest. When you took the job, did you ever think that you would be assaulted by anybody? I mean, I'm trying to get my audience to understand the frame of mind that who goes to work thinking they're going to have to fight. Did you ever think that? I mean, seriously, think back on it. At each institution you worked at, that you went to school with like boxing gloves, knowing like, you're not in a gang, so you're not expecting to. Well, I'm not. I fight if I have to, but that's not for most of us in the audience. I don't think that's our expectation. So even as a security officer, they train you for it, but did you expect you would ever have to do what they train you for?
I never expected it. I expected one thing. I expected this, that I was going to have to break up fights. And every now and then I might get a swing. I've been hit on the shoulder, on the side of the head, because I was breaking up a fight, not being attacked. I never thought about being like, hey, I'm going to be attacked. Today I might get attacked. But, a couple times you always have teachers. And on 3, 1, 2, 3, we separate the kids from fighting and we take them to the principal office. That's, you get a couple little swings on the arm or something like that, but not just attacked by.
Okay, I'm great. I'm glad you said that, because I hope we also understand that in all the videos I showed, none of those teachers went to school thinking just like you. They're not thinking they're going to get attacked, and they were all the direct victim in all these instances. So that's why I think it's important that you said that, and you're a security officer, but you didn't have an expectation of getting attacked. But nonetheless, it happened, and it happened very viciously, violently in all these cases. So I'm glad. I thank you for that. Just give me a moment. Sister May, would you give us some sort of background? I mean, can I ask you a question? Did you work at was all your experience strictly in the alternative schools? Was some in non-alternative schools? Was it the same school, or was it several other schools?
Yeah, I worked at 2 alternative schools. I had chosen to work with alternative kids because I feel like the small classrooms, and they can become more personal, And that's exactly what kids who are at risk need. They need small classrooms with individual help and support, more like a relationship in a community, less like a factory model. So that's what I found myself to be a very effective and really good teacher. So I stuck with alternative school my whole career. At-risk kids are very unique. Most of them are brilliant, but they have problems,
Mhm.
and those problems a lot of times have to do with anger management. And so it doesn't take a whole lot. You're dealing with powder kegs, and 2 seconds flat, things can go from 0 to 10 real fast. And
I'm glad,
de-escalation is something you have to learn how to do.
I'm glad you said that. And this is what I want to ask. Bro, C, are you back? Probably not. I'm glad you said that because me knowing you and you and I have a friendship, and I know you've always told me you used to have a short fuse yourself. So I wonder if was it because of you and your background as to why you chose that? Did you know going into alternative teaching that you were going to be dealing with some of the worst, short fuses, temperamental issues, people with background problems, probably not even just themselves, but they probably come from families of background issues. And how was your entryway into that space, and what was your expectations, at least around the space of possibly being assaulted or having to defend yourself? I don't want to say assault someone. How was your entryway into that, or did you expect that, okay, because you maybe could better understand them, that it would never happen? Can you give me a little bit of insight into that?
Well, let's say this: alternative school is not that different than a regular school. If we're honest, they're not that different. They've been identified, and then they've been, I guess you would say, slow walk to an institution that claims to be for those kids who are at risk. But there's a lot of at-risk kids in every environment, every elementary, every middle school. They're unidentified and they stay there and they bring those same behaviors. So it's not that different. You just have more things in place to deal with more of them at the same time, I would say. Security, we had extra security, whereas a regular school might just have regular. We had extra. We also had real police officers who would assist on a dime. They're ready for anything at an alternative school. But this is the thing that I saw constantly is it's an institutional problem. There is no protection for the professionals. There's all the protections for students. I have seen students hide behind disabilities. The disability that they are acting up on has absolutely, I'm not going to say that, they hide behind a disability that says they can't act right, when no, the disability they have has nothing to do with the behavior. And so they will rely on that and that use that as a defense. So we have to, throw that in there too. A lot of kids are using special education to cut a fool, and you can't discipline special ed. You can have these meetings all day long. You're not going to suspend them more than 10 days out of a year by law. You can't do anything. I don't care if they punch, hit, this, that. A lot of times it just goes to a hearing, and a lot of it's dismissed and written off. So that's one of the disadvantages.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because in particular, when you speak to the nature of we can't do anything, and I think of it in a systemic basis, right? As far as the legislator, like you said, when I showed the last video, which I had no idea, the state of Maryland would not prosecute any kid under 13, no matter how egregious it couldn't be in the court system, no matter how bad it is. And I'm like, you got 12-year-olds out here unaliving people. So to to say that under the age of 13, that the seriousness of the offense can't rise to that, I just find to be untrue. But my question is, knowing that you were dealing with alternative students in an alternative school environment, and I'm trying to think of the nice positive words to say, at the end of the day, these are the most difficult to deal with. What was the relationship with, if the legislators don't do anything? I always go back thinking about myself. I was a father of 5 boys. You don't need the legislators. All my teachers had to do was to call me, and I literally had a standing message to the teachers to say, pick up the phone and say, hey, Mr. Young, I had a problem with so-and-so, and hang up. I don't want no explanation. I don't care what it is. It is completely irrelevant because and again, I'm showing my age, my stupidity. Like Mama used to always say, don't let that school call me. You're there to be educated and not anything else. So I do, and I still strongly do not believe in children being disruptive to education, right? Now I understand, I know it's 2024, I know all the new shit that's going on. But at least I'm trying to figure out was what level of support are you as an alternative educator being given by the parents, or are they just sending them to act a goddamn fool to you every day? Every day. So you gotta not only you gotta teach them, you gotta mother them. That's where I think for that modest amount of pay, I'm here to teach you, not to mother you.
Yeah, but that's a good point, Rico. I'll say this real quick.
And Sister May answer, then I'll come right back to you.
I'm sorry.
Hold it for a second, radio. Go ahead, May.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to ask. It's a whole lot to ask. You are actually inviting teachers, professionals, people who believe that they're supposed to carry themselves with dignity and pride and have self-discipline. You're carrying these professionals into environments where they're not making the top dollar, they're paying back student loans, they're very frustrated, and the principal is supposed to be the savior. They're supposed to be a disciplined principal, but a lot of these things, because they're so common, disruptions to the classroom, cell phones, this, that, you could, I mean, literally you could spend all day long talking about discipline. Every 2 minutes interruption with discipline. So and so, stop this, stop that. You have to put out fires, sir. You have to put out fires constantly.
Yeah.
And when you don't effectively put your fires out, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of kids who are disrespectful at one time. So you learn to really, you have to learn to really, really have classroom discipline. And if you can't do that, them kids are gonna put you out the school. I'm gonna put it to you that way, because I have seen situations where I just want to give you a couple of examples of what I've actually seen. I've seen examples where security guards are beat up, attacked by students, the actual security. So how do you think that makes a teacher feel to see the security get beat up? Think about it. Then I've also seen one time the lights went out and there were several teachers who had kids jump on them and took advantage of it. Nobody knows who hit the teachers when the power went out. You know, stuff like that is very scary. At any moment, them lights go out because we didn't have, windows. I could be assaulted. So I used to go behind my desk immediately. And I always told my students, I know I'm in an alternative school. When I go behind my desk, anything come back behind here, it's going to be on. I'm just letting you know. When I get behind my desk, that's my safe space. So I've seen parents try to fight teachers. I've seen teachers in blood in the hallway. Teachers tried to intervene. They got beat up. The whole group of kids took advantage of the fact that you tried to break up a fight. So they start hitting you thinking that it won't be on video and then get some licks in because it's already a fight. I done seen it all.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So, and I'm gonna come right back to you, John. The short and curly. Hang on, bro. See, hang on, because you wouldn't hear when I called on your ass. We ain't class. Sit your ass down. So the short of it is that you have little to no minimum parental support. So, and that's what I'm trying to get us to think about. Teaching is hard. Teaching in regular school is extremely hard. Teaching in regular school with so-called regular kids is hard with minimal support. And now you're in an alternative school with alternative kids, with alternative parents who don't want to fucking support the educators. It's a serious freaking problem. It's a serious problem. Go ahead, John. I know you've been biting at the bit, radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on what Sister May just said. She's absolutely right. What I have noticed was the kids that improved, the parents had our backs. The parents had our backs. It was like, just like you said, Rico, you come, if I come to that school, I'm gonna whip your ass. So, and we also had corporal punishment. Every parent that signed corporal punishment, I'm not gonna say everyone, but 95% of them, we didn't have no problem with the kid after about 2-3 weeks in the school because the parents like, oh, I'll sign this paper because I don't have to keep on coming. So we had corporal punishment, and they would get their ass whooped, and then they would go back to class, and then they would keep getting their ass whooped, and they would go back to class. And after a while, they'd be like, oh man, I just got to straighten up because
everybody but that special student we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But hold it.
Yeah, he didn't have corporal punishment.
I just say I know that, so just hold it, right? We're gonna talk about that special student in a moment. But that is very true, and that is, I'm surprised to hear they still got that in 2024, but that is more of a generational thing, more back in the day. But because the elderly showed up late as usual, since the old black church lady showed up, I want him, my brother from another mother, bro. Please give us your introduction and your background. Tell us about what you got going on, all the stuff. I tried to do you justice, brother, as much as I could, but I can't remember. Hell, I'm older than you. Better looking, but older. And I want you to go ahead and give your introduction as to what you're doing, where we can find you, the type of content that we can expect. Because I rock with you till the wheels fall off. Go ahead.
That's right. Y'all know I don't pay no mind to Rico, man. But except for business, when Rico's talking about business, you got to listen to him. Other than that, no, I'm just playing. But no, that's my brother. And thank you, brother, and congratulations on having Brother John putting you out there, man. And I'm glad you out here so you could see what it's like. Instead of cussing me out all the time and cussing John out all the time, you can see what it's like to actually run your own thing and all the things that's going on in the background, right? All right, but thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you, John. Thank you.
Hold up. What's the problem?
Yeah. Clarence, just play video. Clarence, just do it. Clarence, what's going on? I just bring this person up. What's wrong with you? Don't bring him up.
Go back, Clarence.
Go back and see what I was in. Come on. What's going on, John? John, just stop. Just don't let that person talk. Let this person talk. What's going on? But now, man, I'm glad Rico getting a little taste of it to see what it's like, man. All right, so what we doing, man? What we doing? I was fortunate, man.
No, give me your background. I want to hear you.
Oh, okay, my background's 28 years working with the city of Los Angeles. About 10 of those years working in training and facilities in health, safety, training and safety with training new employees on different things they need to know as far as working with the city of Los Angeles and some of the codes and things that they have to understand before they actually accept the job. So that's my background. I've been doing that I had been doing that. I'm not in training anymore, but I was in training for almost 10 years. And so I did that for a lot of years. My specialty was a couple of different things. One of them being a class called No Means No, where I had to teach about sexual harassment and different things where a lot of our young men don't know when they're stepping over the line, when they're going outside of the law as far as pursuing someone in a romantic interest that they may have in someone. So I had to teach that class. And then also another class called Mutual Respect, where we had to teach people in a corporate situation how to show respect to one another so that we can have a coexist and get things done. So I have many years of training in this and seeing.
Can you give them a little background on just let them know, like, a little bit about your time with the nation.
Oh, okay.
And also, I want you to take a few moments. Don't long stroke me on your listen, because I want you to cover everything on your time with the nation, because I have a great deal of respect for it. I also want you to let them know you be kicking ass in karate. You're gonna fuck around and find out you jump on that old level. You're gonna fuck around. I done seen the video. Bruce Leroy. And also shout out, please, for me, Urban Warrior Academy.
Okay, definitely. Okay, so yeah, that's my training, my classroom training. So I've been an instructor for a long time. So I have the what do you call that? The qualifications to teach in a classroom setting, as well as what Rico was talking about in the dojo setting, in the what do you call that? Self-defense. I've been had my black belt since 2010. I've been training since that time, and so I've also taught classes in self-defense. So also able to teach on the mat as well as in the classroom. So that's my qualifications. And so as far as we started this program called the well, let me talk a little bit about Let's Talk to Better Black Life. I met some really good people at Let's Talk to Better Black Life. Rico, coach, and his crew, a bunch of different people, man. Sister Annie out there in the chat, Arshawn, a bunch of different people, Risa, Neil, a bunch of different people, Fawn Brian, a lot of different people, Patrice, just so many people, I can't even name them all, but we came together and we said, hey, we're going to start doing things for the community. So the first thing we did was we gave away these backpacks, man. We raised some money. We bought the backpacks. We gave the backpacks away. If you go to Let's Talk to Better Black Life channel, that's the first video you see is us giving away the backpack. Well, actually see me giving away the backpacks. Everybody else, because I was the one that was in LA. Everybody else was in different states all over the country, but they gave the money and I had to, me and another lady had to set up where we gave away the backpacks, but we did that. So now we set our next goal on, okay, how are we going, what can we do next? Well, the next thing is we see a need, kind of ties into what you guys are talking about. Our young men, especially the black men, they have unique issues that need to be addressed in a classroom setting. And so, but a lot of stuff when they graduate from high school, they don't know. They don't know about money. Rico has done some of the Zoom talks where we talk to young men, and Rico did a thing about money. I had Rico do the thing about money, but I mean, it's just they don't know how to get a bank account. They don't know how to manage their money. They don't know how to budget. They don't know how to do hardly anything. And then when they graduate high school, we say, okay, you're a man, go out there and be successful. But that's not the reality of the situation for them. Then they fail miserably before they even get a hint of how to do something. And so we want to take that learning curve away and at least give them some information before they walk out of high school. Another thing they don't know about
Urban Warrior.
I'm getting into the Urban Warrior Academy. So another thing they don't know about is how to deal with the police interactions. They don't know how to deal with that and walk away with everything being okay, right? They think they got to either be super geeked or just not say nothing. So we need to tell you how they can have that. They can be in a police interaction and at the same time preserve their rights, but at the same time show respect to the police. So those are things that they have to learn, man. They don't know none of this stuff. And then one of the other things is they don't know how to defend.
The last thing?
Not the last thing, but one of the last things is they don't know how to defend themselves in combat. So what do? They say, okay, I'm just gonna carry a pistol. So they run around getting all these pistols because they don't know how to defend themselves, right? And so all these people end up losing their lives just because these young men don't know how to defend themselves on the street. So it's about 8 different things that we want to teach them called the Emergency Manhood Pack. And that's what we want to teach them. So we started this nonprofit organization called the Urban Warrior Academy, because these young men don't know they're in a war. And so they in a war zone, they behind enemy lines, and we need to teach them how they can survive while they behind enemy lines and still, not get caught up. So we started the Urban Warrior Academy. You can find that at Urban Warrior Academy Inc. It's the YouTube page. You can go over there, and the kind of videos we're going to put up there, it's just showing the kids motivational, inspirational, and just showing some of the classroom settings, maybe some of the dojo settings, some of the stuff when we might take field trips with them and just take them out fishing or Dodger game or whatever, right? But that's the type of things we want to do for the kids in the Compton, Long Beach, Los Angeles area. That's right around that area where we got a facility that we're trying to buy. We're trying to raise money to not buy, but take control of and at least rent it out for a couple of years. That a facility we're trying to get to that can do all the things that we're trying to do. So we trying to raise money to do that. But yeah, man, that's it goes back to what you guys was talking about as far as the teachers and our young men especially have unique issues where they're and I hate to say it, but they keep telling black young men everything's the same. Everything's the same. There's no difference in that. No, there's difference. Our young men have unique issues. Our young men have unique issues, and those issues have to be spoken to. For example, our young men start showing.
You said a lot of words. Shorten it.
Okay. Our young men start showing masculinity. Our young men start showing masculinity at about first grade, second grade. So many of the teachers that they run across will take that masculinity that comes off of them as disrespect. And so they will push back on them to try to push down that masculinity, right? And so that turns off our young men. By the time they get to third or fourth grade, they done checked out. They're going to school just for the food and the socialization.
So you've been doing research on. It's clear that you've been doing research on.
May, 1 second. Okay, Clarence, me, May, and John got to skip. This is Uno, so we skipping your black ass the next 3 turns, okay? Right. With your long broken ass. No, hold on, stay there. Because hold on. I wanted that.
You know I don't listen to Rico. You know I don't listen to Rico at all.
You see what happens when you give a little Negro a little bit of power.
Shut up, radio. Why I drop your ass? So the reality is because one thing I did want to hear, and I want to stick a pin in, is again, you with the work on the streets, and I know Sister May be doing work on the streets in Atlanta. And again, for everybody sitting there saying, this is LA. It ain't just LA. LA is the pilot program, Urban Warrior Academy. If this ends up being a good thing, hopefully Bro C, myself, May in Atlanta, whatever, John, we can roll this out. But you have to start somewhere. And LA is where we're starting because Bro Clarence is willing to put, because a lot of this shit revolves around people putting boots on the ground, feet on the street. You just can't sit up here in this goddamn box and talk all the time like everybody like to do. They like to talk shit but not do shit. And I know Bro C, and I know May, because May be doing that fucking work in Atlanta. She's changing laws and changing lives.
Right on.
So that's what I'm sitting there saying. Is you guys are very symbiotic. I'm glad I got you both here. Make sure you
say my name.
Because you ain't doing shit, radio. I'm like, you ain't on the ground doing nothing. But literally, I take it back. I take that back. Because you know what? I spoke too soon.
I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead, move on, man. Move on. I'm just playing.
John be killing it with there's a particular.
Come on, man. John, you getting them kids, teaching kids English, baseball, manhood.
Let me give him one flower.
He
be killing it with that orphanage. With that orphanage.
We'll be there tomorrow.
You shut up for a moment. Hey, subscribe to this channel and go and look at his orphanage videos, and you see the things that he does with the orphanage, raising money to get them stoves, clothes, food, all kinds of stuff. An orphanage of at least 40, 50 young black men. And again, you and Clarence are always into this young black men space, and I love that. Absolutely. I'm a young black man, but very young. But nonetheless, I agree with everything that he said. I don't think our problems are all gender specific, but again, I love us coming together, sitting here in this space, having this conversation with.
Can I say this real quick, Rico?
Go ahead.
May said something a little earlier. I remember when I would get calls and the teachers said the lights went out and they got snuck in the back of the head, or a book hit them in the back, or somebody put something in their desk, and it was just frustrating. And then you don't know who did it. Nobody ain't snitching. And you got 20 people in the classroom and ain't nobody snitching, ain't nobody saying that. And I felt bad for some. And I've seen some teachers just walk out crying and just said, "I'm done. I can't do it anymore." So it's teachers have it very tough. I didn't have it tough compared to the teachers, because the teachers.
Right. But that's exactly the point. Like we're talking about these instances of teachers with limited resources. And again, like I said, for all the videos I show, I didn't touch on, as you definitely know. I can't imagine. Well, you probably know, better than any of the other three of us. But I listen to stories of teachers having to financially go in their pocket to purchase school supplies.
Yes.
I'm like, I already told you guys what the modest number, what the salary was, but they're trying to be successful at what they do, and they're not even funded correctly for enough for papers and pens. And of course, they're grading you guys on test results. If all your kids fucking fail, they don't look at the kids as being failures. They look at you. Why couldn't you teach them better? You gave me the word. I used to say this, okay, I coach, and this is the way I look at it when I equate teachers, right? I coach youth sports, and I would always take like football, they would be like what they called an A team and a B team. You know what the A team was? The coach came out there, all the kids in the program, the coach would be like, I want this one, they all go through the drills. I want this one, 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 this one. He take his team, you got what's left. What do you think he picked? The best fucking players? What did he leave you with? All the fucking trash? And every year, I was the coach that was coaching the B team. So we would go 0-10 or 2-8. And they look at me like, what's wrong with you? You suck as a coach. I'm like, are you fucking serious? You gave me kids that couldn't even put their shoes on the right fucking feet. I'm trying to coach them up. You took the best. You're not going to grade me against you picking what you wanted, but that's what they do. So when I look at it, I always think of it from that. And I loved coaching those kids. So I'm with you. The troubled kids, the kids that nobody wanted to bet on, I believe in. I believe in them. But be honest with you, them be some little rascal motherfuckers. They be
Hey,
rough.
Rico, what about the mothers that don't remember that they had practice, right? Don't come back till about 9 o'clock at night, right?
Oh my goodness.
We
got that at the school.
Right.
Hey, May has 7 more minutes to be with us. So May, go ahead and
Go ahead, May. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I have a couple of things I gotta on time frame I gotta do. I just want to say I appreciate you guys having this conversation. I had a quick comment for the brother who's at the desk.
Brother Clarence.
Brother, yes. Brother, I was just admiring the fact that I can tell you have done your research on black males in the school system. That topic you said, when you said that by the 3rd grade, they're turned off. I did my graduate research on that, and I have to tell you that so much attention needs to be given to that topic. It's going to change everything when we start catering to every student in the way that they need to be taught. When we start doing that, it's going to change everything.
Yes. Because right now, in my opinion, we're teaching based on the way white children learn. We're teaching based on the way they learn, right? And not and we're saying, well, everybody's the same. Everybody's not the same. But they won't admit that.
That's right. And alternative schools are proof. They are proof. A lot of these alternative schools are proof that it didn't work. In mass, you're seeing a lot of black kids end up in the alternative schools, no matter how, what the population is around, the surrounding demographic. You will see a lot of black kids in alternative schools. Now, the funny thing is, I love alternative schools because they're successful. When you have small classes and you have teachers that actually know who you are, they know your name, they care about you, they encourage you, they see you because you're not 1 out of 36, you're 1 out of 12 in the classroom. Now we can work. Now we can get something done.
I like that. Hey, sister, before you go, I want to, what can we do to prevent the kids from assaulting our teachers across the world?
Well, first and foremost, we need to have teachers' rights. We need to establish that teacher and adult, let's say educational professionals. We need to have standards for the students. We got all kinds of standards for the adults. You can't cuss at them. Don't touch them. If they fight, leave them alone. You better not hit them, even if they hit you. We got all kind of rights and responsibilities put on the not rights, but obligations and barriers and expectations put on the adults. Where are the boundaries and expectations for the parents? Where are the contracts from the students? You will not do X, Y, and Z. They have rules in there in some book that kids never read. When are we going to tell them point blank, you will not put your hands on this teacher? And if you do, you're going to jail. That needs to be the policy. We got to have rights that are defended for the professional. Because what you're going to end up with is a whole bunch of people. Y'all notice a teacher shortage. You're going to end up with a whole bunch of people who can't do more than babysit. And they're not going to come in there with a good attitude. They're going to come in there on some minimum wage. They're about to revolutionize education in the bad way. It's going to either be people who are in between jobs that want to teach, or it's going to be some computer-based robotic educational programming that's going to replace teachers. These are our options.
May, before you disappear again, and that's why I said I'm glad you said that, because I just want to talk about that point again and again. Like for me, always in my mind, it was like, okay, I didn't look. The code of conduct for my children came from me. Literally, I can remember. I'll be 60 in a couple of months. I can hear it like yesterday. My mama looked at me in the face and said,
"But Rico, they don't. These parents don't. They don't care. They're not like you."
Right, but I want to hear it. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Is my mama looked at me and said, "Do not let that school call me." That was it. That was literally it. I don't even call you about what. If they rang her fucking phone, I was going in the hospital. It didn't. It was gonna take skin off my ass. So I knew, hey, I literally I'm going to please don't come, mama. Please don't come, mama. Please don't come, mama. I mean, it was like it was literally that. So I think that where the loss of that occurred, because again, that started in the home, is where all of a sudden these students felt like I'm empowered, because not only will my parents not chastise me for it, they're going to take my side. I can say any fucking thing. They're 100, and parents are out here publicly saying, I believe my kids. I believe my kids. I'm like, you know what that little rotten motherfucker is up to. You know. So I knew what my kids were, because you know why? Because literally, like I told the teachers, the same shit you tell me they doing at school, they're doing at home. It's nothing new. So the mouthiness to you is to me. So if I don't punch him in the fucking mouth, you have to, or you're in a position, because I say take the trash out and I got to deal with all this argumentative shit. So what do you think when the teacher said about doing your homework? Same thing.
Well,
they do this.
Yeah,
so all I'm saying is that part stood out to me, and I'm just saying generationally, that was where I was. I understand 2024, they're not going to do that. I get it. I get it. But literally, what I would tell every parent is the frustration that you feel about telling your kids to make their bed, to clean their room, to take out the trash, to do the dishes. You're sending those little fuckers out to a school system who's required to give them educational materials. They taught them and to test them. And for these kids to be just as rebellious because they don't learn the material. You've taught your children how to make the bed. You taught your children how to take out the trash. You taught your children how to do whatever you told them to do. They refuse to do it. They're doing the same thing with the school system. And at the end of the day, look at your goddamn self for why they're not succeeding.
Absolutely. I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much. And I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, May. Thank you so much. You really educated us, and I just love getting a teacher's point of view. Thank you so much.
And May, you better not be a stranger. Don't make me come look for your ass.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. I appreciate you guys. All
you
right.
know, I love you, sister. Please thank you for everything. I couldn't do this without you.
Hey man, let me tell you what you just said, Rico and Brother Clarence. We had a kid. He was spitting on the teachers from the top to the bottom floor, and we just couldn't catch him. And they finally set up a camera, but the mom kept saying, "No, that ain't my baby. That ain't my baby. That ain't my baby." And finally, we caught him spitting on the teachers, and we brought her in and showed the video to her, and she just walked out and put her head down.
So let me ask you,
didn't say nothing.
Okay, but this is my question, right? In that instance, bro, I'm gonna start with you, bro. See, your child, what would you do? I'm going last. Go ahead.
What would I do if that was?
Be quiet, John. Go ahead. That's
Okay,
your child. That's your child on the third floor, spitting down the steps on teachers.
Give me 5 minutes. If that was my child spitting off the
third floor
I mean,
down,
I would handle that at home. Definitely, I would handle that at home.
What does handle mean? What does that mean?
That means that I would definitely discipline him. I would discipline him if definitely discipline him, and then try to get him to see that it was wrong. And if he didn't see that it was wrong, I would let him know that the discipline is going to get even more extensive next time.
Okay. I'm gonna accept that bullshit PC answer. Go ahead, John. Go ahead, radio. That's DJ on the third floor, spitting down to the first floor. DJ, I know your ass listening. I'm gonna see what your daddy gonna do to you. Go ahead. Now you're bigger than him now, but back then he in elementary school. Pretend he was still small.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would have asked them to tell me the truth, and I would have just sat back.
You saw it on video.
I saw it on video. Start off with that. I would have took him to the house and pulled his pants down, and I would have whipped his ass good. Okay. I would have whipped him good. And that would have been it. And he would have felt it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because So just so we all three answer, I'm peeling skin. I'm filleting that.
You say that, Rico, you go to jail.
No, listen, no bullshit. And the reason why I'm saying is because in my mind as a person, I think of what if a person spit on me, the rage that would rise in me so much. Because I've always been taught, I'm gonna say I've always been taught that to spit on a person is the most despicable thing you could do to them.
Yeah.
It is beyond like the bodily fluids, the disease, just like it's like the ultimate insult. Smack me, punch me, whatever. Don't spit on me. Do not spit on me. That I'm going into a blind rage if you spit on me. So if my child was to spit on someone, especially someone in a position of authority, I'm not going to kill them, but they're going to walk away wishing they were dead or wishing I was dead. It's no way in hell. That means that I have not imparted the importance of why you don't do something that egregious. That, there are things that you can do, but when it rises to that occasion that you so woefully disrespect someone that you would want to, and I don't care if it hit their clothes or anything, it's the symbolism of spitting on someone. When we think about countries, the symbolism of one country spitting on another, World War III. It's like, no.
Rico, as soon as the parent walk in and then they started talking like, not my baby, how you know it was him? Then you say, oh, that's okay. We see why he acting a fool.
And when they do that, the first thing you be like, that's why this little motherfucker spitting on people right there.
That's
right
what you want. But you got to be professional. You got to be professional.
No, you don't. You are, but you don't have to. But in my mind, because I did the same thing with football. It was funny, right? I tell you the story, right? Clarence, you here? I particularly remember the story, and I tell everybody, remember, I love telling my football story. There was this kid, and I can't remember the kid name. Just say, let's say Antonio. I'm just making up a name, right? I remember this kid name. And this kid would come to practice, just whatever. I mean, the kid couldn't play worth a damn. He could play. So basically, when you look at these kids, I'm sitting there like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this boy? Jesus Christ. So you sit there, right? You've been a baseball coach, and you be like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with this one? Oh my God. So I try to put them in the positions where they're best able to be successful in some way. So I put the kid and I got him on defense, and he's excelling where I put him at. He's doing well. But one day, and this is the part, this is when I talk about the parents. He came to practice and he walked up to me and he looked me right in the face and he said, Coach. I was like, what, Antonio? My daddy said I should be quarterback. I was like, what? My daddy said I make a good quarterback, right? Now I'm sitting there in my mind, right? So I'm looking around, right? Because now we've been about 8 weeks into practice, right? And I'm like, who the fuck is your daddy? Because I ain't never seen him. Daddy ain't never brought him to practice. Daddy ain't never brought this boy to practice. Only his mama. I know his mama don't know nothing about football. But that Negro put in that boy's head that he could do something that he was
right.
A dog could quarterback better than him.
Right.
He was so unprepared, but his father, who I had never seen, sent him to practice, and now he's insisting that he should get the trial for quarterback. I'm like, boy, if you think I'm gonna waste one fucking snap with you don't know left from right. And I'm going to put you under center to appease your daddy. You have lost your damn mind. But this is what I'm saying is this speaks to the problem of parents and the impression that they put on their kids that they can't do no wrong, or they're perfect, or they can do anything that they want to. It creates a burden to the teachers or the coach or people who are sitting there trying to make a clear objective determination of what your skill set and talent is. And now I have to deal with this. Or literally, I swear to God, I've coached kids whose father played in the NFL, right? And the mother say, his father played wide receiver in the NFL. And you know what I look at him in the face and say? But that's only half of this motherfucker. The other half is you. A beat and a pretty face. So you fucked him up, not his daddy.
Yeah.
His daddy didn't fuck himself. His daddy fucked you. And that boy ain't, first of all, his daddy was a 6th-round pick that made it to the practice squad in the NFL. And you think your fucked up genes enhanced him in some way. That boy is qualified for the poll where his daddy found you.
So what you're saying is it all goes back to
the parents. The
Yes,
parents are consistently
Brother Clarence, you agree with that, Brother Clarence?
Behaviors. You on mute.
Do I agree with which thing, bro?
All of it.
Yes.
Yes.
With the parents being the biggest problem.
Yeah, of course. I think it's half and half. I think the parents are half the problem, and I think the school system is half the problem, because the parents are the ones that are, kind of setting up the work ethic, right? You get your work ethic pretty much from your parents, and if your parents don't have a good work ethic, you probably don't have a good work ethic. Your parents don't have good morals, you're probably not going to have good morals. I mean, it's not exact rocket science, but typically this is how it goes, right? So that work ethic you're going to bring into the school system. Now it's up to the school system to encourage and
and mold.
Mold and push you forward using that work ethic that you have to to encourage you to move forward and get the most.
Proceed, but let me stop you. Okay, and I agree with you up to this point. I agree 1,000%. Right? We right here. No. Before you finish, because what I want to say is, because goddamn it, you long stroke. So here's the thing: before you finish, old long stroker, I agree with you, but I'm trying to figure out. You say half and half, so you're saying 50-50. No, somebody's got to have a greater weight of the problem, because again, what you say, the school system molds the kids, right? Right?
I don't know if I would
That
say
was your word.
It's order. It's order. The word is order. To
Okay,
give them order.
I would say more. They leave the breadcrumbs to where the student's supposed to go, and they supposed to encourage the student to go after the breadcrumbs.
But what I'm saying is
that's what I would say.
What I'm saying is that if you sit there and say that the school system take the kid that's given to them and they mold them, what I'm saying is, if
unfortunately, yeah.
Right. Okay. So now I send a kid that's very gifted, very smart, very talented, very well behaved. I expect you to mold him. I send a kid that's fucking illiterate, belligerent, problematic. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm sitting there saying is I put more of the burden on the parents, because they sit there. Basically, it's like the teacher is the baker, but the parents make the cookie dough. So if I make a cookie dough and it has all the right ingredients for the baker, yeast, all this stuff that's needed to make cookies, and then the other parent, she's saying cookie dough full of clay and dirt and shit, how you gonna blame the teacher that she couldn't bake good cookies out of the shit you sent her?
Yeah,
so
no, you can't blame the teacher.
Right, but I'm saying
they can only teach the curriculum,
right,
Rico, as best as they can understand it. But what I'm saying is, all of this all plays a part, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, if you have a good child that listens, that does right, that works hard, you put them in an environment where all the other students are shiftless, then eventually that is going to overtake your child. Your child is going to become. No. This is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm saying that the environment plays a part. Just like if you have a student, you have a good school, and you have a student at home where there's no good work ethic, there's no good morality, and you send that student to a good place, still gonna have problems, because so it's a combination of everything to get them in the right place.
Hold on, I'm speaking in the opposite. A good school system, but the kid still comes from a broken home.
Yeah.
Oftentimes they still fail because they come from a broken home and they have to go back to the broken home, because again, it's symbiotic. So again, what I sit there and say is, at the end of the day, always teachers are only supposed to build on the foundation, and the foundation starts where? In the home. So if the teacher is given a student with a weak foundation, we can't blame them for not being successful. If the teacher is given a student from a good foundation, as even you said yourself, John, and we're going to get into your story in a minute before we get too lost, because we got to have him tell his story, that child is more likely to be successful. So that's why I always say, like, I agree with you 1,000% is half and half, but I would say I don't look at it as 50-50. I look at it as 65-35. 65% of the responsibility got to be on the parents, and the other 35% got to be on the teachers.
Okay. I mean,
can't go 50. Right, I'm just saying I can't go 50.
I look at it like that because I think you're going to get the best results if it's 50-50. You're going to get the best results if 50% of the burden is on the school system and 50% of the burden is on the parents. You're going to get the best results.
But this is what I'm saying is if the parents take 65% of the responsibility, they're going to do so well that the school system is going to knock it out the park. That's T-ball.
I don't know, Rico. I don't see. That's where we crossing up right there.
Listen. I'm not saying 100%. I'm saying you thereby, if in fact you set such a solid foundation of your kids at home for being well behaved, listening and learning, almost any school system they go to, they will, because it's just in them to be successful.
But no, but Rico, if you put them in a bad environment,
I get that.
It doesn't matter if you do. See, for example, my granddaughter right now, a straight A student, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because she's around so many bad kids at the school she's in, by the way, she just got accepted to a magnet program, so thank God for that. But right now, she got into a school that was supposed to be a really good school, and so what did they do? What did they do? They identify all the bad students and they put them all with one teacher.
Right.
And they put my granddaughter in that class. And so now she's having issues because she's in a classroom full of kids that are talking and having fun. Yeah, but she's a straight A student.
But listen,
this is my point.
No. I'm not proving your point, because in spite of her being among the worst of the worst, right?
Right.
Because of what you and your wife are doing at home, she's
Agreed.
still achieving. She's achieving in spite of that.
Agreed.
Because
but
of
it's
what
tough
you
for
got.
Rico.
Listen,
It's tough.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying in spite of it, she's achieving. She would achieve more if she was in a good class. But what I'm saying, now let's do the reverse. The kid goes to a high achieving school. The mama on crack, the daddy an alcoholic, they're being abused, all these things. You don't send, again, what did they say was the number one thing why do you think they do the food program in the summer? Because a lot of kids are food deficient.
Agreed.
Basically, if kids go to school fucking hungry, they can't learn. That's why they give free breakfast for everybody.
Agreed.
Because they're like, let these kids fucking eat. Because I don't care how good the environment is. If they're hungry and they're going home, kids go home, they don't have access to the internet. There's a lot of domestic violence. All this stuff going around. They can't learn no matter how gifted they are.
Right.
That's what I'm saying is, to me, that's a bigger problem than a kid coming from a very successful household and say they're going to a marginal school. Because I think kids who come from a successful home upbringing can achieve through dysfunction. But kids who come from a very dysfunctional household just can't achieve because they're killed at the root.
But I agree with that.
That's what
I'm saying. Now I'm going to say this little thing here before John gets into his story. That young black men in particular have an issue because of they develop much faster than other children. They develop much faster. So therefore, when they start experiencing these bursts of testosterone very early, we're talking first grade, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, they start experiencing these bursts of testosterone that makes them want to express this masculinity. And so these teachers that are not aware, that have been told to lie, that all children learn the same way, they've been told that lie. So what they feel like when these young black men in first grade, second grade start expressing this masculinity, they start pushing back on these teachers a little bit. The teacher takes that as disrespect. They take that as disrespect and they say, "Oh, well, you being disrespectful," so they I would say punish, but they single the kid out. They single these young men out and they attack them. They retaliate against them. And so in the course of over a year of retaliating,
the teachers shut down and I'm not going to even help you out.
Yeah, right. Exactly, John. That's my whole point. That's exactly what happens to these.
I've seen that.
And so what they do is they just say, forget school. I'm just gonna come here and have fun. I'm gonna have fun around these teachers. And the stuff that they're supposed to be getting out of the school, they don't get it because the teacher ain't trying to give it to them no more, because they like, I ain't gonna let you disrespect me in front of these other students. That's how they take it, instead of taking it as, okay, this is a young black man. He has a different his growing up is different than these other kids. He's hitting puberty early, way early. If you look in our history, you saw Roots. Kunta Kinte was 14, 15 years old when he went out to be a man. And when he came back, what happened? He didn't go back to his father's house at 15, 14. He had his own hut when he came back, right? He was a man now at 14. So our children are naturally, what do you call that?
Yeah, right. It's why they're ready to go. They're ready to go.
Yeah. And so the classroom sometimes is too slow for them. It's too slow for how they think. And so they just check out of it and they say, hey, why am I, this is not making no sense to me. Why am I going through this and I don't even see the end result? And see, that's one thing we got to do. We got to put the reason why. These kids today, like when we was coming up, like Rico said, you didn't need no reason why. They use fear to teach you. Fear, you better not do it. The school better not call me, right? That was good enough. But in today's world, we can't use fear anymore, right? The government has stepped in and said, no, we can't. The government has stepped in. So now what we have to do is keep the reason why in front of them. This is why you learning this. This is why you learning that. And this is what's going to happen if you don't. See, they need to know both sides of it. If you don't learn this, this is what may happen to you. But that's not what we're doing in the public school system. They don't tell you why you need to learn that. They don't tell you. They just say, learn it. Just learn it. But these kids want to know why. And if you ain't telling them, they say, well, forget you then. I don't want to know. I don't need to learn this if you ain't going to tell me why.
Okay, well, hold on.
We have so many, especially of our children, going down the wayside because they want to know why, what they're doing. They feel like you're insulting their intelligence by telling them just do something and you're not going to tell them why.
Okay, 15-year-old Clarence. Okay, I know you're getting in touch with your 15-year-old self. This stream is not about them badass students. This is about the teacher assaults. Okay, so 15-year-old Clarence, knock it off before I get my black belt on your black ass.
But that's why they're being assaulted, Rico. Rico. That's why they're being assaulted because they're being assaulted. The teachers are being assaulted because, like you said, the parents are not telling them, hey, if you touch this child, if you touch that teacher, this is what may happen to you. You may go to jail. You may this and this. The parents ain't connected to them like that.
That's why we need more teachers assaulting them little motherfuckers back. Okay, the end.
But you can, Rico.
Yeah, you can. You can. Yeah, I do 6 months in county lockup, but don't matter.
Why don't you ask John? John was working at a school. You and me never worked at school. John worked at the school. Why don't you ask John?
Clarence,
is it okay for you to just haul off and hit a student?
Excuse me. I'm not talking about the rules. I'm talking about what you can do. Because if your kids,
you can do whatever, Rico.
Yeah, it is.
You can rob a bank if you can get away. Right?
There's cameras everywhere, Rico. There's cameras everywhere.
And I get that. I'm John. I'm not disputing that there's cameras. I'm not even saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying is I don't expect that the normative of it to change as long as, first of all, I don't want teachers to do what I would do. I don't want them to do it. I do not. But I want these assaults to stop.
Right.
I'm just saying. Let me finish. If my behind was in the school system, it would be different. But that's why I won't work in the school system.
Right.
Because I know these motherfuckers is crazy. I know they're going to throw their hands up at me, and I'm not accepting it. And that's fine. So now, simply because, again, like I said, I have a timeline. And bro, Negrosaurus, I'm not doing no 12-hour streams like you. You always bust your chop like Clarence. Can we keep it to 3 or 4? Oh, yeah, Rico, we're going to keep it to 3. 9 hours later. I'm like, oh my God. So, but no, seriously.
How you gonna blame me for something on John's stream?
No, I'm talking on yours.
He got the, thank you, brother. He got the controls. Let's go.
Shut up, I'll drop your ass. All right, so now what we're gonna do is at this moment, we're gonna take a couple of minutes and we are going to talk. We're gonna talk about a couple of things. Come on back up here, Negrosaurus. You ain't as handsome as me, but goddamn it. Oh, you eating. Okay.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. But we're gonna take a few moments because what we want to do for this this relaunching of the channel is we're going to let John discuss the specialized incident that happened to him and just to give us a little bit of background on what happened to you and why, because we're talking about teacher and staff assault, and you've directly been assaulted in a school system. And give us, a brief, not too long, but
Right.
take a couple of minutes to explain
Yeah,
the particular incident.
Yeah, the documentary is,
Give names and everything that you can,
Yeah.
lawful.
So
And none of this is alleged. This has all
no,
been
this is all facts. Yeah,
This
and
all
so
been adjudicated, and again, the truth.
the truth. Yeah. So like y'all said, I had an easy job. It was very easy for me, Rico. Now I felt sorry for the teachers. I would just take the kids to the principal office, and man, I got a call. Deion Sanders' son was acting up in class.
Who?
Deion, I don't know if you ever heard of Deion Sanders before.
Oh, who's Deion Sanders? Can you tell me?
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Fame doing playing what?
Football.
Oh, the guy that played for Atlanta. Atlanta Falcons. Oh, he played for Atlanta, the Cowboys, Washington Redskins back then.
Baseball player.
Oh, baseball player, the Atlanta Braves, and the San Francisco 49ers.
Everybody know Deion Sanders. Everybody know Deion.
Oh, okay. The guy that's considered the greatest cornerback ever in the history of the NFL.
Right,
okay.
Right. And I think he up there.
He was a head coach at Jackson State.
Head coach Jackson State.
That's in Mississippi, right?
Yep. Now he in Colorado.
He's the head coach where in Colorado?
The Colorado football team. Shit, I don't.
Colorado Buffaloes. Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But again, I'm only asking because we want to make sure that our audience know who you're talking about. But go ahead.
So his school closed down. He transferred all his badass kids there, including his biological kids.
What kids were these? What's their name?
I think Shiloh, of course, and then Shador.
Okay.
And I don't know the daughter's name. I think it was
is Shador the quarterback of the Colorado Buffaloes?
Shador is the quarterback. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They did pretty good, and they did better than expected last year. I mean, it was all a pop and sizzle. So that's why I'm just asking. So now you're talking about Deion Sanders, the Hall of Fame cornerback, and his sons, Shiloh Sanders and Shador Sanders, and all three of them are at the University of Colorado, the Colorado Buffaloes. Okay.
And I'm gonna rewind a little bit. People don't know this, but I had been knowing Deion for probably 15 years or 13 years before that, probably. So it ain't like that was my first time meeting him. And so anyway, he was a friend of mine. I had his phone number. I met him through Gary Sheffield. So I knew him. He knew me. So it was surprising with what he did when he did it. It was crazy. So I get a call on the phone, and I'm giving y'all the short version because y'all got to watch it on Tubi. It's out on Tubi.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Deion Sanders was having problems with Shiloh. Shiloh wanted to live with his mom. For 2 hours, Shiloh was on the phone, and he begged me, in Jesus' name, in Jesus' name, can you please go get the phone because he's not allowed to talk to his mom. So, I'm trying to help a friend out. I'm doing my job. 2 hours walking around, being a child, just being what's the word? Entitled. So, man, I went to reach for the phone, and I got roundhouse right in my neck, right up in my chest, up into my neck. And then he punched me in my face twice, and I had to pin him up against the glass with my forearm. I had to take him down to the ground. And man, I never saw that coming. I wasn't looking for it because a child, just like we're talking about right now, a child has never, a student has never attacked me before. But man, he had so much rage in him. I think he would have attacked anybody. A lot of people say, "Oh, you didn't have no right reaching for the
We
phone.
don't care about what a lot of people say. We don't care about a lot of people say. All we care about is what happened.
Yeah.
Rico, let him tell the story, Rico. Rico, let him tell the story.
I'm not letting him go off into what other people said because, again,
Right.
I tell you what I would have done. I don't know unless I was in that situation. But go ahead, tell your story. Right. Okay, Negrosaurus, go ahead.
So, took him down to the ground, and man, I got up, started to write the report, and I started going numb, started urinating on myself. I knew something was wrong. My equilibrium was off, and I got rushed to the hospital. They said, man, you got a fractured neck. We got to go in because you're going to be paralyzed. So, so long story short, Deion Sanders stole all the videos. He stole all the videos because the videos were the evidence that of course, that would have got his son. His son, like we talk about, should be locked up right now. Should be in jail, but his son Shiloh is a spoiled brat, and his dad stole all the video surveillance evidence, I guess, in Jesus' name, so nobody could ever see his son attacking me. So yeah, that's what happened. And man, I've had 4 major surgeries, and I just thank God I'm not paralyzed.
Okay, so quickly, and that was good synopsis. Can you give me the results currently in 2024? What was the result of the?
Yeah, I won the case. I won my case, against Shiloh, the assault case. I didn't.
So you filed a lawsuit?
I filed a lawsuit, and I won the case against Shiloh Sanders.
What did you file a lawsuit for? What was the claim?
For assault, for assault and bodily harm.
Okay, so you filed a lawsuit against Shiloh, but he was only a kid at the time. Did you sue the parents?
16 years old. His dad got out of the deal because.
So you initially sued the mother and the father.
Yes, and Pilar is still on the case, but so we won the case against Pilar and Shiloh. Deion, all his wiggle or whatever he did to get out of it.
So you have a current adjudicated lawsuit and a current judgment against who?
Shiloh Sanders
and
Pilar, but
okay. So you have an
those are the 2 that's on the case.
Okay, right. So you have an adjudicated claim against, basically, and adjudicated means it went through the court system, a judgment was made and given, the appeals process is played out, and the final decision is you won a lawsuit against, because again, this is prime time for the fucking truth.
Yes.
And we only tell the truth. You have an adjudicated claim for damages against Shiloh and Pilar Sanders.
That's correct. So
how much did you win in the judgment, if you don't mind?
I won 11. No, 11. I think 11.9, 11.10 million, 11.9 million, somewhere around there. But with interest right now, it's probably at $12 million right now with interest, because they hadn't paid in the last 6-7 months.
And I understand that. Forget that. So again, because I just want our listeners to understand. Okay, so
breaking it down.
You won an adjudicated.
Yeah.
Was it a jury or only a judge judgment? Who
judge?
It was a judge. So it's so even a judge, a man who is deeply rooted in the law in the state of Texas, adjudicated and found them liable for injury sustained by you, adjudicated and adjudged in the appeal process, and a judge in the state of Texas found them liable for your injuries, Pilar and Shiloh Sanders, to the tune of $11 million.
Yes, that's correct.
11 million plus, roughly.
That's right. Now,
and what year did this happen?
This happened in 2016.
No, what year was the judgment entered?
Oh, that was last year. That was 2023.
And the appeals process played out when?
Yes, the appeals process played out, and the judge said case closed. Now Shiloh is in.
What year? That's all I want to know.
That was last year, at the end of last year.
Okay, so I just want to make sure for the audience that because I want nobody to come back with no bullshit. Because again, we sit on the truth.
Right. Sure.
You went to court, and just for the record, I want everybody to know that multiple depositions, and if you don't know what a deposition is, that's where people come, they sit down, and they get to ask the plaintiff and the defendant. They get to ask questions. It's recorded. So we know what you said and what you did not say, body language, posture, all this. We're going through this right now with a current person that's running for president, Donald J. Trump. So whether you're a Trump fan or a Biden fan, nonetheless, depositions show you the state of mind and the things that people said when they were questioned. And it's videoed. It's videoed so people can't say they didn't say something. So we can hear with our own lying ears and see with our own lying eyes. So when people like to say, oh, they're lying, go to the videos.
Hey, Rico, hold on one second. If you guys really want to see something really funny, I mean, if you really want to see something funny, go look at Deion Sanders' deposition in this case. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. You gotta go see something really funny.
Okay, hold on.
Popcorn and look at that.
Proceed. But you know where I'm going. Hold on, John. Because again, I'm trying to tell the audience.
Right, brother.
I'm trying to tell the audience, and I'm glad you said. Forget what I said. Fuck my lying words. Go watch and listen for the truth. To see and hear what they said. And you decide for yourself as to whether or not the person is telling the truth. You'll see Dion, you'll see Shiloh, you'll see John. You'll see the investigator from CPS. You'll see the CEO of the school system.
The doctors.
You'll see you'll see all these people. So I just want people to know that all these depositions are up on the channel and they're public. And they can't take them down. They've been up for an extended period of time. But I just want to remind people that, you know, we're telling the story. And we're telling the story because it's a story that we believe in. But I want people to know that information is there.
And we'll jump back to this. I just want to say this. I was hurt that a person that I looked up to back in the day lied so much, and he stealing the videos and hiding the evidence and lying under oath. And then you see him on TV saying, I don't lie. I don't have no lie in me. I don't lie at all. In Jesus' name. I don't lie at all. And he lied the whole time. He stole, he lied, he pretended like he didn't remember. He just did all of that. So that was just like, man. And the crazy part about it is Deion Sanders started all this. I didn't start it. He put me on TMZ. And I said, hey, man, I called a couple of my friends. I said, hey, tell Deion. I even tried to call Deion on his personal phone and say, hey, man, you need to take that shit down. You said I attack your son, and that's, you know, that's not what happened. But he probably talked to a lawyer, probably say, oh, now I got to switch the story up and pretend like my son got attacked by a security officer. So that was the most hurtful thing. And I had to get over that because somebody that I looked up to, a liar, now he's a liar and he's trying to take my name. And it's the crazy part about it is I had foster kids. I had fostered over.
Okay, John. So without getting too far in the weeds, I don't want you I look. Let me say this. I clearly understand because if it was me personally, I would feel. But yeah, I've told you several times before. You've been too fucking nice to. Because if they did it to me, I'd be dragging that motherfucker for eternity. I would have nothing good to say because again, and I know, brother, I know the pain you go through. I know the daily struggle you go through. I know all the surgeries you've been through. Ain't no way in hell I would be wishing anything less than hell or death on someone that would inflict that level of pain on me. So I can appreciate where your heart is. Can I call him a liar? I don't know. He never lied to me. I can tell you this. I would never believe nothing that motherfucker say out his mouth. I would never, based on what my lying eyes and ears told me.
And Brother Clarence, you just said it, like all the lies and stuff he made up on in the depositions and pretending like he don't recall and I don't remember and I don't know this and I don't know that.
I would never. I saw what I saw. I heard what I heard. I know what I know. And to me, I know when a nigga lying.
So now fast forward, now it's some more lying and conniving going on. And they're in bankruptcy court, and his son been cashed out and bought his daddy a house.
We know. We look.
But anyway, now that's something else that's going on. But that shows that's Jesus. Maybe Jesus told him to do that.
But John, what we don't want to do is, like you said, let's not sit there and what do they call it? Try it in the court of public opinion. The reality is what I always tell people. It's like, this is prime time for the truth.
Right.
Look at use your lying eyes and your lying ears. So again, Shiloh Sanders and Pilar Sanders. Now, Pilar's not playing football, but Shiloh is predicted to be an NFL draft pick next year. He has an $11 million judge. He himself is the named person who caused these injuries. Why should he live the life of luxury in the NFL without being responsible for putting this man in a state of disrepair and disability for the rest of his life? Why should he get to walk away from that responsibility? And what message are we saying? So what message is Dion, Pilar, and everybody else is saying that, oh, you go and you cripple a person and fuck it, you get to walk away? And this is not just his words. Fuck the words of John. This is the words of the judge. I'm not asking anybody to listen to him. I'm telling you, read the fucking. Is the judgment up on the channel?
Yes, it's in the comment section.
So at the end of the day, fuck John. Read the judgment of the judge who was not injured, who have no skin in the game, who listened to the trier of the facts and made a determination that him and his parents, because he was a minor, was responsible for the permanent injuries to this man. So why should he, now that he's reached the pinnacle of success, get to walk away from that fucking responsibility? And I would sit there and say, in a normal world, you would go, oh, he was just a kid. Okay, but this man is disabled for life.
What? And Rico, you just showed the videos of all the people that's locked up and in jail for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. No. That kid in the first video got 16 to 40 years. 16 to 40. So if you don't have a celebrity parent, we know what the justice system does. Okay, but so at a minimum, if you don't want Shiloh locked up, fine. You want him to go to the NFL, fine. Make that motherfucker pay his judgment. Right. Pay up. Pay the
this is another thing, right? So I was very disappointed in Deion Sanders. I have nothing against Deion Sanders. I really don't, and I don't think John does either in particular, except for the situation. But well, that's why I didn't mention you, Rico. Anyway,
as a man, it's not right. It's not
but
right.
I know, but I'm getting to that.
Especially
Rico.
if you're in a position to do some repair. That's all I'm saying. If you're in a position to do repair, offer the man some sort of reparative justice. If you can't,
I'm getting to that, Rico.
Do something.
Go ahead, brother.
Let me get to that. I was very
my
disappointed.
goddamn show. Go ahead. In case I have to be behind you, Negro.
I was very disappointed in Dion, man. Especially those of us here, we saw the screws in this man's back. Am I still here? Can you guys hear me?
Now you are. I had to remind you of the power of God.
Okay. Oh yeah, Jesus.
Go ahead.
I was disappointed in Dion, man, for saying, because I saw in one of the videos where he said, "Hey, this guy is just trying to get a money grab," and we all saw, at least the three of us, we saw the screws in this man's neck. We saw the screws and the vices back there. Who would do something like that to just get money? Who would permanently? I mean, we saw it. We saw it through the X-rays. It wasn't we saw it. So I was disappointed, man, when we try to make it. And then, like you said, to your point, Rico, here's a man that's supposed to be a figurehead, father figure for these young men. And you basically teaching them how to scam. If you get in enough trouble, F Jesus, F right, F doing right, you got to do what you got to do. And that's doing right. And so it's just, I was very disappointed in that, man. And I saw, and then as you watch more of the video, you see him having that attitude. But it's like,
that don't care attitude. Right.
Well, when I'm in front of everybody, it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. But when I really get into a situation where I got to see whether I really believe in Jesus or not, Jesus goes out the window, and I'm just I'm a self-survivalist, and I'm just going to do what I think is best for me and not what's best for the situation. And I was disappointed in that. Now here you got this man teaching other people, right? And
it's crazy because he asked the school, he said, "Can I please have the videos to look at what happened?" And the school said, everything's under investigation. Wait a second. The next day he didn't paid somebody to go steal the videos and pull all the videos so they'll never be shown in court, or they'll never be shown on TMZ, or they'll never be shown in school. But he don't say nothing about Jesus Christ telling him to do that. But it's just amazing how you throw Jesus out there when you want to.
That's the bad part, man, because everybody's following the image and not the real person. And unfortunately, a lot of times, like you said, brother, we can be in friendships with people and not really know them until some stuff pops off. And then that's when you see, oh, this person they just a image. They're not really that real person. Because when something happens, if my son would have did something like that, man, I would, okay, what we got to do? We got to own up to it. We got to do what we got to do. Let's see how can we help this man? You know what I mean? That's what you got to do, right? I think, listen, I think he would have got more praise for doing it that way. In other words, if he would have did that, he would have really stood out as a stand-up person, right? If he would have came out and said, "Hey, man, my son injured this man. We're going to try and see if we can make him whole. We'll never make him the way he was, but at least we could do something to help him in this situation." You know how much press he would have got out of that? You know how much flowers he would have got out of that?
Oh, look at Shiloh's rehabilitated. He's doing better now. Look at him. He's doing good. But he went the other way. And then the crazy part about it is he took his son to jail the next day.
Yeah.
And he put his son in the juvenile detention center for 1 month. And that's why Shiloh said, I never forgive my dad for that.
Hold, stop. Let's put a pin in there for a moment. Okay. Everybody, let me tell you, we're going to drop the link.
Yeah, that's good.
Because again, for everybody that's questioning everything,
Might have some Deion Sanders people on that want to talk.
I don't care who it is. But the bottom line is we're going to do this for the blind, crippled, and crazy, old, fat, and lazy. We're dropping the stream to no. I don't want the link because I ain't trying to talk to nobody. I want the link to the video, to the documentary.
Go ahead.
Paste that in there.
Okay, I don't know how to paste that in there, Rico.
Okay, I'm gonna do that in a moment. But this is what I want to do is I want to
Nikki, that's what Nikki know how to do.
Okay, I'll do it. Zip. I want to announce to everybody that the video is an hour-long video and it's streaming currently on Tubi. We want everybody in the sound of my voice to go and watch it. It talks about everything from start to finish. With it doesn't cover everything.
We'll review it on my channel. I'll review it on my channel.
Are you gonna let me finish?
Go ahead.
Anyway, no.
Okay. I'm trying to let the people know it's on Tubi. Okay. We need people to watch it on Tubi. Of course, and that's why I'm pushing it. I'm pushing the narrative nonstop. I want to paste it into the chat. I want everybody to watch it. It is a very good and very powerful documentary. You see John's sons, both of them, AB and DJ. You see his cousin Cheryl. You see some of the deposition, but a lot of it revolves around the CPS people who did a lot of stuff to clear John.
Rico, let me say this. It was amazing that I was found. I got a knock on that door and I was found guilty of child abuse. I had never thought in my mind, and for Deion and Shiloh to make this up and lie and pretend like I choked his son out or choked him out. And then it took a month for them to say, oh shit, Deion and Shiloh was lying. Like, damn. And this Ruta Nash lady was lying. They just made this story up. None of this shit never happened. And withholding evidence. So, go ahead, Rico. I'm sorry. I just want to say that.
No, keep talking. You and won't shut the fuck up.
Okay, so I just know that I'm happy that the documentary is out. We're not going to tell you guys the juicy parts, but it's an awesome documentary. It's emotional at the end. You guys, the ending part, it kind of make me tear up.
Okay, shut up for a moment. I just pasted the link to the video on Tubi in the chat line. So for anybody, there it is. All you have to do is click on the link. It will launch you right into Tubi. I don't know if you need. I think I had to sign up for an account, but Tubi's free. You don't pay any money for it. You give it your fucking.
Gotta watch the commercials.
Will you shut up? Exactly. But it's a free streaming app.
Right.
I've heard about it a lot. I had no idea it was free, but the entirety of the documentary is there. So please like, subscribe, share, and push it out there. We want everybody to watch it because that video gives you the truth. It's a snippet because, again, do not think it's everything. Anything that you may have questions that you feel like are missing from the documentary, come right over to Prime Time for the Truth. And those depositions are right there, and they're filling all the fucking holes. Because I didn't know. No. Shut up. Because I didn't know until I watched the documentary. Now I'm gonna bust you in the head.
What happened? What I did wrong?
I didn't say you did nothing wrong. Damn it! I said I learned something.
All right, go ahead. Tell me.
In particular, I learned quite a bit. Clarence, listen, pay attention, Clarence. Have you watched the documentary, Clarence?
No, not yet. I'm gonna watch.
Okay,
it right now,
hold on. Okay, hold on. There's some juicy shit. I'm like, wow! I screamed.
Don't tell people the damn story.
No. Be quiet. Miss Nash, and Miss Bird. Those two people in particular.
Yeah.
And apparently, right? You caught or saw them. Okay, my question is this.
You can't tell the story.
No, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna be like, because they didn't even tell it in the documentary, but it was inferred.
Right.
So in the documentary, they never told it, but the juicy detail was inferred. Miss Nash was the principal, and Am I correct?
Yeah, Miss and Bird was the superintendent.
And Bird was superintendent.
Yeah.
But be quiet. But you caught them in compromising positions. I'm asking about the compromising positions. Was it oral or was it vaginal?
Rico.
I'm not
No,
saying
Rico, we might got kids watching, Rico. Rico, we might get kids watching.
all I said was those two words. If you watch the documentary, you see they're literally like,
I saw Miss Nash doing some nasty stuff to a
there
staff.
you go. It's in the documentary, Clarence.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh shit.
The principal of the school.
And the CEO said that's why they never liked him, because he reported it. He reported that he caught the principal and whoever this other person doing something inappropriate, and that's why they tried to railroad him. But it didn't.
Let me tell you the only reason I reported.
That's all I'm saying.
Let me tell you the only reason, Brother Clarence. Let me tell you the only reason I reported it.
Okay.
Just like
but you were supposed to. That's your fucking job.
Oh. It was a kid I was taking. My job is to take the kid and move him to the principal office. Take the kid, move him to the principal office. That was my job. I had the easiest job. So this kid was like 5 or 6 years old. I guess they thought the door was closed. And I got the kid in my hand. I'm holding his hand. I said, get your butt in there, boy. And I said, your mama coming or something. Your mama, get your butt in there. And when the door flew open, I guess they thought it was locked. It was some business going down. And I snatched that boy. I grabbed him by the head. I said, and I pulled him back into the door, and I closed the door of the office, and I said, get your butt back in class and just sit down somewhere.
But you saw it.
Yeah, and the guy runs out.
You went to snitch. So you snitched.
I had to.
Okay.
Because let me tell you why I had to.
It's your job.
The next day. Now, if I would have saw it by myself, I wouldn't even care. She could have jacked the whole school off. I don't care. But the thing is, the next day, you see the parent running into the school, holding the little baby hand on his tippy toes, and she's like, I need to talk to somebody. And she
the boy told. The kid saw it and told.
Told the mama.
Yeah, okay, all right, there you go. So you CYA.
Yeah, and I'm so glad I told my supervisor and the principal of the school to cover my ass. If you hiding evidence and then this little kid saw some nasty stuff,
he gonna tell it exactly.
And he told it, and so I was good. I was clear because.
But listen. From the story,
and they denied it. No, the little boy is lying, and Coach John is lying.
But
then after that, they hated me after that.
As you already say that. So from that point forward. Because I heard McClure said it, from the point of you reporting those incidents, they was out to get your black ass. So when the incident happened with Shiloh, we got this nigga now. That's what I gathered from it.
That's exactly
that was kind of like what CPS.
And if you listen to the documentary, when Pilar calls, she says, I didn't see Coach John choking Shiloh out. I didn't see that part. And then in the CPS report, she says, I witnessed Coach John choking Shiloh out.
You know. So that's why I said, and they said it was, my only thing was through the entire documentary, I was like, okay, the principal and the person who wrote the termination letter, I was like, okay, well, they seem like high school authorities, and why would they lie? And then when the guy got in deposition, he was like, let me say, he reported something he saw. Right. And I was like, and the way he described it, like, oh shit, he caught somebody getting freaky deaky. Yeah. So my question was like,
Quan said Rico telling 70% of the documentary. Listen to that, brother Clarence.
You gotta watch it. No, this is not 70%. This is like 7%. There was the one part in my mind was like, what the fuck did he see? Oh, I know what I hear. He walked in, somebody somebody doing something. Somebody in some sort of descriptive position.
And I'll repeat this, and I don't care what nobody say. She could have jacked the whole school off, and I could have saw it. I wouldn't have gave a damn. That 6-year-old child saw it, and he.
Oh, that's what you saw.
And no, that's what the little kid saw too.
Oh. So was it? Wait a minute. When you said jack the whole school off with her hand?
Hey,
Rico, John.
I'm still.
We know what you're talking about. We know what you're talking about. We know what you got what you guys are talking about. But I think the bigger issue with most people is going to be because they're going to look at this. I think most people look at this as John attacking Dion. I think that's the way they look at it, right?
I don't give a fuck how they look at it. Let me ask you one question. No, seriously. Are either one of those education professionals still at that school?
No, and matter of fact.
Okay, stop.
Let me say it. You just asked me a damn question.
I don't want you to go too far, but go ahead.
Okay. They stepped down about a month later.
Fine. Okay. So they
wasn't terminated. They wasn't fired.
I didn't say that. I just asked you.
No, I'm telling you, they stepped down.
Right. And I don't want you to tell me too much. They are no longer with the school. That's good enough.
Right.
So now my question is this. That's it. That's good enough. They're no longer with the school.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still educators anywhere that you are aware of?
One of them is.
They're still educating in Texas?
One of them is.
Okay. Can you say which one?
I ain't gonna say which one, but one of them is.
Okay. All right. Is either of them still a principal?
I ain't gonna say one of them.
No, I'm saying I'm asking you what are their position? Is either of them still a principal anywhere? You say yes or no. You say yes, no.
No.
Okay.
But they're in the school system.
Okay, that's fine. So they're not a principal anywhere. Okay, so I feel better because I don't want them to be in a position of authority.
But the thing is like I really thought about suing one of them because
I'm sure you did. I'd have sued both of them bitches.
Yeah, but I really thought about suing that.
I'd have sued the wig off them bitches because they lied.
They ain't have no money.
I don't give a fuck if they got money. I'm trying to break them motherfuckers. You lied on me. You wrote this bullshit.
Rico.
No, ain't no Rico nothing.
Right. We got some kids watching, Rico.
Okay, but you goddamn it, tell them go to bed. They wrote that lie, and they wrote that lie in a way to be extremely vitriolic and harmful to him. And I'm not telling nobody that John's no fucking angel. He ain't no angel. But the fact that
none of us are.
Listen, when I watched the video, I'm like, you lying, crooked wig wearing motherfuckers. If you didn't like him, you didn't like him. But because you got caught giving somebody a hand job or whatever it was you were doing,
Rico.
You said it. He said jack it off.
Let's
Rico.
move on.
This is what I'm saying. Let me say this, Rico. Rico, let me say this. Rico. Let me say this. Why I'm saying this.
And it better be short.
A lot of people like Dion, and a lot of kids like Dion. And when they hear the stuff that you're saying, it breaks their heart. They don't understand what's actually going on in the real background. So we got to chew it up, and it's a steak. We got to break it down.
No, we don't. Not over here. Not on prime time.
Hold on. So we don't want to make it like we don't want to make it. I understand, but at the same time, we got to understand, man. Some of his followers may be here, and they may be they may be young kids, man, because they look up to him.
We don't want to make it like the truth.
Well, I mean, we want to make it like the truth. We have our choice of how we present it. And we just don't want to present it where we know we got an audience. It'd be different if it was all grown-up people that was listening to this situation. But he has a lot of people that follow him that are younger.
Bro, see, this is for prime time for the truth.
Right.
Keep
Detailed.
throwing the weight around, bro. See, keep throwing the
Did you
weight
hear me
around.
tell him not to tell the truth, John?
Do I
I didn't tell him not to tell the truth.
Excuse me. Do I get to finish?
Okay.
Go ahead, brother.
This is prime time for the truth. Is it going to ruffle some feathers and chap some asses? Sure. Is it going to upset some of his younger supporters?
Yes.
That is not my intention. So fucking be it.
Right.
I don't care. This is prime time for the truth. And what I'm saying is to his younger supporters, his older supporters, his middle-aged supporters, what happened was the truth. And we're going to tell it.
Agreed.
We're going to tell it no matter how uncomfortable it may make some of you feel.
Agreed.
Okay. John is no angel. He's no angel.
Agreed. None of us are.
But this is two things I know for a fact. What was the date of the incident, John? September 5th?
17, 2015.
Okay. This is what I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. This is the fucking truth. On September 17, 2015, there was a physical altercation, right? One person walked away incapacitated for the rest of their fucking life.
Agreed, Rico.
The other motherfucker did not. As far as I'm aware of, he sustained minimal to no injuries. He's living his life to the fullest of his wishes and desires, even to the point that he's about to reach the pinnacle of going to the NFL. The other person pissed himself, living off of a fucking $1,400 a month stipend.
I just got a raise, 14.25.
Shut the fuck up. This is the other person. Do you think for one moment I give a fuck about whose sensibilities I hurt or offend? Because I'm sitting there, I'm weighing the scale. We talk about the Libra, scales of justice. This person goes on to the NFL. This person fucking wets himself, has multiple surgeries, fall out in pain. Who the fuck am I supposed to care about more? And I don't. Fuck them.
Rico.
No, ain't no.
It's not about. It's. And I never said you're not supposed to tell the truth, Rico. What I'm saying is that in our telling of the truth, we have an option of how we laying it out with some of the language that we're using, because some of his people, some of his people, and even some of the people that follow John, they probably are younger, especially they're younger people. So this particular audience, this particular subject, he's reached so many different age groups.
I don't care about them. I don't care about them either. Once again, for the last time, either you come to this space and you accept the fact that I'm going to give you the unadulterated truth the best way I see it. And I said this when I opened.
Brother Clarence, wait, Rico, I'm agreeing with you, because it asks, is this child appropriate? You check yes or no on the box when you do it, Brother Clarence, and you said no, this is not child appropriate. This is for all audiences. So when they clicked on it, they knew it wasn't child appropriate.
But bro, see, even outside of that, when I don't know if you were here in the beginning, I said, this is not my truth. This is not your truth. This is the truth to the best way that I see it.
Okay.
That's what I said. I said that at my opening. So if you sit there and we rewind the tape and we talk about it, that's what I said.
But you know what?
Not without fear or favor. There will I expect that there will be a percentage of people who will not like what I have to say. I can't worry about that if I'm seeking the truth. The truth of the topic was about student and parental assaults on school staff. I went through all that. Now we're talking about John's personal story. We're not talking about the generalized state. But so knowing his personalized story, watching all the depositions, seeing all the tape, seeing what it is. I get it that a bunch of people are going to be sensitive that it's Dion and his son. Fuck them niggas. I don't care about them. I don't. I'm not going to sacrifice the truth because then I think Deion Sanders is a GOAT and deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. But I also know, shut up. I also know in this instance, he failed. No, because I want to say what I gotta say.
Go ahead.
When I'm telling you to shut up, it's not that I don't want to hear what you gotta say. I don't want to be cut off, to be deflected or redirected, not to say what I'm saying. Because oftentimes people want to jump out there. Oh, you gotta be careful. No, fuck that shit. I don't care if I don't see $1 off of it. What he did was fucking wrong and fucked up. And somebody has to say it because nobody said it, is why they keep getting away with it. So go ahead, John and Clarence, y'all can come with y'all PC bullshit. Go ahead. But that's how on this, as long as, let me say this, and I'll close. As long as I run this motherfucking channel, it's going to be run that way. And if you're expecting some PC shit, go somewhere else. I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it.
Brother Clarence, go ahead.
Hey, man, you know what? Me and this dude fight so much. I understand. I already know he's going to do, but I at least get to say John, I at least got to say my piece, right? I at least got to say my piece. I feel like, his audience is going to, and then I want you to come off in the best light. I want Rico come off in the best light, and myself as well come off in the best light. And, and I want the emphasis to be on the fact that this was wrong. And this is something that shouldn't happen anymore, and it should be handled, and it should be taken care of, and something should be done about it, right? Instead of focusing on, well, he said this and he said this word, and and I never said, hey, don't tell the truth. I want you to tell the truth. I want us all to tell the truth, and sometimes it has to be delivered that way. I was just thinking about the kids, but hey, not a problem.
But let me say, no, that's a great point, Brother Karen. It now to end the story, and now everybody, we can go watch the documentary. Y'all can watch it when we get off. But Shiloh filed for bankruptcy in Colorado to try not to pay.
Of course.
So he still don't want to pay me my money. Of course. And he filed for bankruptcy to try to get out of it. I've never heard where you can. I don't know, Brother Clarence, have you ever heard, or Rico, have you ever heard where you lose in court, but you file for bankruptcy and get everything thrown out? You ever heard of that?
Definitely. That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what people do. They build up, they go into court, and they go into court. They build up all of these different, but they usually do it from a trust. They usually have a trust that's running, that owns the business. And then the trust files for bankruptcy, and then the business files for bankruptcy under the trust, and then they dissolve or dismiss the debts of the business. And so that's basically what he's doing, trying to dismiss his debts, the debt that he owes you. He's trying to dismiss that, so now he can move on with it. Once that gets dismissed, he can move on with his life, right?
What's your opinion on that? What you think gonna happen?
Well, I think for him to file bankruptcy, he'd have to show a lot of different. He'd have to show where he has a lack of income and a lack of being able to produce income. I think that's going to be difficult for him to show, especially like you said. If you said he just bought his dad a house, that's going to be difficult to show that he's got a lack of income.
Or if he gets drafted to the league, motherfucker, you in the NFL.
I mean, that's going to be difficult. That's going to be really difficult.
You got to pay something. Maybe not the full amount, but something.
He has one of the highest paying NIL deals ever in history. So he's like number 13 or 14. So
what's the NIL deal?
Name, image, and likeness. That's what the college does now.
Okay.
They started paying kids in college.
Okay.
So yeah, you can get paid in college.
I don't see how he's going to be able to prove that he's bankrupt, because you got to be able to show you got a lack of income.
Right, because
you got high debt.
Bankruptcy, you're saying you're indigent. You can't afford to pay back your debts.
That's what I'm saying. How can he do that?
Bankruptcy is.
He can't do that. Right. How can he do it? If you're getting this money from this deal, you get money from this deal, you're about to go to the league. I mean, that's a lot of
Dr.
sources of
H,
income right there, right?
right. Dr. HP
So-
says, but they can force him to liquidate, right?
It's a process. It's a process. I don't want to make it seem like it's easy peasy.
I
but
don't
it's
know.
not.
I don't see how they would do it. But even so, even if you got the income, I mean, he'd have to have the income, and then they would have to liquidate everything. They'd have to make him pay off what he can pay.
But
Like,
most
you can pay
places
this.
they do it through a process of placing liens on your assets. So
Right.
when you do, so whenever you sell the assets, they get a portion. They may not get all of it. You place a lien on somebody's house, car, income, pension, whatever. So whenever that asset moves or gets liquidated, and it could be immediately, 10 years from now, whatever, then you get a portion. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's neither
So
here.
maybe John could do that. Maybe John could do that. Put a lien on something.
My lawyer, I have one of the best lawyers in Texas, collection lawyers, and he's doing a great job. And they're in court right now as we speak. Last week they were in court and they're filing paperwork and things like that. So it's just amazing because the nerve damage and the pain that I go through, I really need more treatment. My fiance Dominga, she is God sent because at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, she's massaging me. She's working the kinks out. She's working the back spasms out.
Shout out to Dominga, man. Shout out to Dominga.
Yeah, shout out to my baby. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
listen, gentlemen, listen. We're I said 2 hours. We're coming up on 3.
Yep, that's right. That was a good.
Yeah, I think it was a good relaunch of the channel.
Yes.
And hopefully we can put it out there in the ether, and hopefully it'll pick up a little bit of traction.
Tell everybody what you're going to be talking about in the future.
Can you let me run my program?
Go ahead, brother.
Can I run my program, please? Thank you. So again, I just want to sit there and say, I because again we're gonna do some closing. So I didn't want us to get stuck too far. But again, right now, like I said, this was the initial relaunch of the channel. My intention is my next live stream is going to be on Saturday, same time, 2 weeks from the day. So that would be March 30th, I believe. And I'm not doing every Saturday at the moment because, again, like I said, I have to see what the engagement, the anticipation, so on and so forth. And the topics will change week by week. I already know what my first 3 topics are. So just to give you guys a sneak preview, the 2-week topic after that from here, if you're interested in coming back, will be about the miseducation of the passport bros. I have a wealth of knowledge. On the topic. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the news recently about that space. A lot of stuff.
Okay.
That I'm going to chop it up and talk about. So if you're interested in talking about it, come show up. I can promise you it's going to be a different type of conversation than what you're used to. It's not going to be all the bullshit that they've sold you, because pretty much everybody know I'm pretty anti-passport, bro. But I'm going to have an honest, genuine, authentic conversation about it. Yeah. I don't try to hide it. It's going to be an honest, authentic, genuine conversation, and I'm going to welcome any passport brothers that want to come up and challenge me on anything that I say. Have your fucking strap on and be ready.
Rico, y'all, Brother Clarence, thanks for your help. I got to run, y'all. Y'all go ahead and close it out, Rico. You got it. It's your show.
You got any closing thoughts?
I just want to say thank you. Thanks for everybody for y'all prayers. I'm smiling. I'm always smiling and joking a lot because I go through a lot of pain, and I've been through hell, and that's why I talk about peace being still, because my brain and my psyche, and Brother Clarence talk about that all the time. You got to have yourself in a good mental state, and that's what I'm always doing. And I keep peace and love around me. So y'all take care.
All right, John, thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Let me say this to Quan. Yes,
that's a good brother right there. That is a good brother.
Oh, definitely. Cooler than the other side of the pillow. Just for anybody that's wondering, yeah, I have quite a bit of vacation queued up. Quite a bit. In the next couple of weeks, I'll be going to El Salvador. Shortly thereafter, I'll be going to Germany. Shortly thereafter, I'll be going back to the DR. So I get like maybe 4 or 5 international trips for the remainder of the year. Quite extensively. So that I'm definitely.
Hey, Rico. So you're like a passport bro without the prostitutes, right?
If I accept that bullshit, sure. Yeah, if I accept the label they put on me, I am shit. If I accept the label they put on me, I'm a passport bro with the prostitute because I tell my sons how to conduct themselves when they're indulging in adult activities. Because knowing, hey, you're gonna do what you got to do, but go over there and do so responsibly. Do not sit there and try to participate in the exploitation of these people, pay them a livable wage, and things like this. This is what I've always said, and I promoted to my sons. They're like, I can't stop any young red-blooded men from going overseas and indulging in those activities where it's legal and lawful. However, I can tell you, do not participate in the exploitation of these people. Do not pay these people slave wages. You know what I'm saying? So when I say things like this, they'll take it as, oh, you're a passport up. No, I'm not. Because I'm not trying to tell people to create an undue imbalance. So we'll talk about that topic in a couple of weeks and more things and so on and so forth. But yeah, okay. For shits and giggles, I'm a passport bro, but I'm a passport bro shitting on passport bros. And I'm gonna break it down for you. I'll break it down for you and I'll educate and I'll teach.
All right.
But still, at the end of the day, I'm glad we had an opportunity. And let me drop in the chat one more time for anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to. There's the link to Tubi where the documentary is. I did the homework. You don't have to type it in. You just click the fucking link. It'll take you right to Tubi. Right to
take you right there.
Prime Time for the Truth.
Yeah.
And please like, share, subscribe, not just to the channel, but to Tubi. More so than anything else, we want to push out that video. We want to talk about it more. Hopefully, I think if you watch the documentary, you'll feel more filled in and more informed about the things that we talked about. Again, this was my first solo live stream. This was a relaunch of Prime Time of the Truth. John gave me the channel and told me to talk about. I mean, he knew I was going to talk about what the fuck I want to talk about anyway. But even more so importantly, for me, this channel is about, again, like I said at the beginning, I'll do a better introduction in 2 weeks from now. It's about staying in the space of the truth, whether it's comfortable or uncomfortable. It's not my intention to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but it's also not my responsibility to make you feel comfortable about the information that I share. If it fits, that's great. If it doesn't, no, I'm not sorry. It is what it is. Again, this was a good first launch for me. I kind of got a feel of it. I think I know how I'm going to do a little bit better going forward. My intention is not to have these long, endless streams. I said 2 hours. Yeah, I know. But of course, I knew when my brother showed up, I knew what to expect. But I mean, I'll be honest with you. I miss these conversations with him. I do. But I want the information to be in digestible, bite-sized pieces that people will be willing to consume. And I still come from the aspect that if the streams are smaller and more digestible, more people will be willing to come over and listen, as opposed to if I click a link and I see a 6-hour stream, I'm like, I'm not listening to it.
Of
Because
course.
it's just too damn long.
Yeah.
So I'm going to work a little bit harder in the future going forward. When I do the passport, I'm going to try to keep it at 2 hours. But if a bunch of people come up, like Dr. HP told me, try to get BMT, which BMT ain't coming over here because he don't want this smoke. Well, I'll invite him. I'll invite him, Dr. HP. And you know what, Dr. Black, you can hit the link. I will absolutely invite him. But he ain't coming over here because he don't want this critical critique about the space and the platform and the shit that he's doing. So I'll invite any of them. BMT, TaylorMade, Austin Holloman, any of them. All of them. Floyd, International Zoe. I will invite every last one of them over here. They just don't want this. They don't want this. They want to sit in the space and speak to the echo chambers that they speak to. And I can't break through it. So they're like, fuck Rico. Fuck Rico and Peso because they haters. That's what they say. We're haters. Hating on what? I mean, Giamo. Oh my God. Come on, Quan. Come on, Quan. You know what Giamo is. Giamo is the Dominican Republic's biggest fucking whoremonger. You know it. You know it. So I'm not even going to be. But again, I tell you what, in 2 weeks, I've already told you guys what the topic is about. You guys can feel free. We'll drop the video. We'll drop the precursor to invite them all and tell them, each and every last one of them. I'm going to do a promo, and I'm inviting all the Passport brothers. Any of them that want to come up and have the conversation on camera, and we'll have a conversation. Other than that, in the words of their boyfriend and their godmother, Kevin Samuels, I bid you.
I thought he was a godfather.
Godmother. He's always been a godmother to me. Always to me. To them, godfather. To me. And I'll be honest with you, I shouldn't even say that because, again, I don't think Kevin was a bad guy. I just think he was the misinformed leading the misinformed.
Agreed. Definitely.
That's all.
Agreed. Agreed.
I think maybe his heart was in the right place, but he was misinformed about a lot of things.
Definitely.
The misinformed. So, but it's just hard because they're so invested in it.
Yeah.
That when you're trying to correct and straighten out these young men, unfortunately, his rhetoric, and he's not here to disown it now.
Yeah.
They take as if it's the gospel. And you and I are old enough to know it's not.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. But do you have any closing remarks, sir?
Yeah, I want to say
briefly.
I want to say thank you.
Take your time.
Thank you, Brother Rico, for inviting me out. Thank you, Brother John, for inviting me out. I appreciate it. I've always looked at John as a respectable man, and when I first heard his story about being assaulted by Shiloh Sanders, I took it kind of with a grain of salt. I said, well, maybe just, because people say they may have their own spin. But once I saw all the evidence that he had, man, and I saw the depositions that Deion Sanders made, I mean, in his own words, he lied in his own words. I mean, and then his own attitude toward the whole situation and just how he treated John after that. I mean, it was just plainly obvious that, he wasn't a man of good character, unfortunately for him. And like I said, I don't have anything against Deion. I don't even know the man, but I'm talking about this particular incident. He just did not show good character in it. And he didn't teach his son. And that's what was really bad to me, was he didn't teach his son how to take responsibility for a situation. He showed his son how to be dishonest to get out of having to take responsibility for something he had done. And I thought that was really going to hurt his son later. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. But for now, we all saw the pins, the nails, the screws in John's back. So when we heard Deion saying, well, this is just a money grab, I went, what? Who would put screws in their neck to get money? I mean, nobody would do that, right? So it was just an ugly situation. But I'm going to review it tomorrow. I just made a decision. I'm going to review the video what's the name of the video? Prime Time for
Yeah,
the Truth.
It's on Tubi. Prime Time for the
Okay,
Truth.
I'm gonna watch it today. We're gonna
Put
review it
down,
tomorrow.
review it. That's a
Review
great.
some of the highlights of it tomorrow, and then you guys can tell us what you think. Should Dion pay? Should Shiloh pay? Should they pay, or should they just be able to wiggle out of the helping this man when they basically put him in this situation, right? So we're gonna review that tomorrow, and everybody keep watching Rico on Prime Time, because I'm glad Rico got his own channel so he could see that it's not just easy. He think it's easy just sitting back there when you try and do 5 or 6 different things while you talking. You see, yeah, Rico's always fussing at me, cussing at me. Hey, Clay, do this, Clay, do that, texting me off the hook. And he get a chance to see what it's like. So, but yeah, man, I think Rico's a good dude, man. He's got good intentions. Whether you can get with the language or not, but Rico's definitely got good intentions, good heart. So watch the brother, give the brother a chance, no matter what you think. One of the things that I really admire about Rico is his ability to say, you know what, yeah, you're right, I messed up on that one, or I was wrong on this situation. And that was one of the things that I think me and I have in common that kind of brought us together. Even though we fight like cats and dogs, one of us will eventually say, yeah, you're right, man. You're right on that one. But anyway, man, watch the channel and support Brother Rico as best as you can. And if you guys get a chance to come over to Let's Talk to Better Black Life tomorrow, we're going to review this video and just talk about it and see what can be done to help John get where he needs to go. All right, but thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. I'm gonna drop down.
Real quick. What time do you go tomorrow?
11:30 Pacific Standard Time. 11:30.
Right.
So,
okay. All right.
Yes.
You gonna be on time?
I'm pretty sure I'll be on time.
CP time.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be on time. I'm not gonna be like some people that don't even show up to invite you out that don't even show up, right? So I'll be on time. I'll be there.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right, love you, brother. All right. So look, we're at the closing of the show. I had told myself my initial show would be in 2 hours. Obviously, being like my people, we went an hour over, but I think it was a good conversation as well. Here on Prime Time for the Truth, it is our intention and I hope that you guys come in, and it is my responsibility to find something relevant, important enough, engaging enough to talk about, and hopefully that I can present it in a manner that we can all listen, learn, grow from, hopefully find a solution. If not, at least see the truth for what the problem is as it's presented. I'm trying to stay away from spaces of a lot of salaciousness, hyperbolic, celebrity junk. I'm not promising that we will, because sometimes unnecessarily and unfortunately it requires discussion, dissecting, and trying to figure out what it is. But I look for ideas and topics to discuss that engage my mind in a way that I think I can be thoughtful about talking about. I'm open to discussing anything that you, the viewer and the subscriber, is willing to engage me about. Don't ask me to talk about something that you're not going to come and hit the link and talk to me about. But I'm absolutely open to having these conversations. I hope that today, for my initial show, the discussion about the teachers and the epidemic of teachers being assaulted and unfortunately attacked, whatever this case may be, while as unfortunate as it is, I hope that it enlightened us all, that we start to realize that we need to do more for our educators. We need to start to think more about the people that teach our young people that's coming up behind us. Because as an older gentleman, while I'm no longer down there, I think that but for the young people go me. The remainder of my time here on this life is dependent. We're all interconnected. So young people sit there and think that they're disconnected from old people. Old people think that we're disconnected from young people, and that's not true at all. young people, they are where they are based on the actions and the ideas and the wisdom of older people. Older people, you're where you are based off of the hard work, ingenuity, and drive still of young people. So we're interconnected whether we like it or not. And I just want us to think about that and remind that. So even though I'm not young and I don't have young kids in school, I still care about down there at the education system. And that was why this initial topic was important to me. So I hope I showed you guys and talked about it in a way that you guys got something out of it. If not, I apologize. I promise to try to do better in 2 weeks. On March 30th, we're going to talk about the miseducation of the Passport Brothers. I want to invest a little bit more time in it. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for your understanding. I thank you for your love. And most importantly, I thank you for your support. Go forth, be blessed, make peace, be still. I love you all. I'll see you in 2 weeks.